Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Danbury Hat Tricks hockey program on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. My name is Casey Bryant alongside Zach McGinnis with Jack O'Mara joining us later. It is Game 2 of the Danbury Hat Tricks regular season, their first in the FPHL. Danbury Hat Tricks were taken to overtime last night, but they found their homecoming spoiled by the Port Huron Prowlers, who managed to get that fifth and game-winning goal 30 seconds into extra time. Tonight, the Hat Tricks look for revenge, and they'll have a new man in net to do it in Tom McGuckin, and they'll have a revamped line chart. And Zach, it's going to be another big test for the Hat Tricks tonight. They are facing their first adversity of the season, and they're going to have to bounce back in a big way tonight.
Well, they certainly had trouble yesterday. They had 3 separate one-goal leads. Each time they could not pull away. They allowed the veteran Port Huron Prowlers to stay in the game, and Port Huron skates away with a 5-4 overtime victory. Matt Robertson in yesterday's game, 4 points, 1 goal and 3 assists. Dalton Jay, the former Danbury Titan, he has a pair of goals. The Danbury Titans have an idea of who they have to cover. What went wrong for them yesterday? Well, they knocked a couple pucks into their own net, so they'll work on that.
Well, that's a shot in the foot.
Yes, but it was the defensive play, especially in the zone. It seemed as though they would consistently collapse towards the slot. They gave up plenty of shots to the outside. When Nick Nieder saw it, he saved it. When his teammates didn't quite help him out the way that they needed to, he had issues. We'll see how Thomas McGurkin does in goal tonight, making his professional debut in North America after playing here in college. Meanwhile, for the Port Huron Prowlers, I had a chance to speak with Dalton Jay before the game. He said, just keep doing what we're doing. It worked out well for them. They'll want to get out to a bit of a faster start. Never fun playing from behind, but they already showed to themselves what they're capable of, coming back the way they did in front of this great crowd that we had at the Danbury Arena.
And you talk about coming from behind. The Hat Tricks led 3 different times in last night's game and couldn't hold on to a lead, including they got the go-ahead goal with 3 minutes to go and surrendered one not 60 seconds later. So the Hat Tricks will definitely want to do a tighter job of the shift following a goal. How do you make a statement after you command the lead?
I think another thing they'll need to look forward to is getting more shots on goal. At one point, they were being outshot by a 24-16 margin.
Especially in the second period with that long change.
Certainly. And in the third period, they finally started making the adjustments that they needed. They limited Port Huron to only 5 shots on goal in that third period, yet 2 of them still found the back of the net. So clearly, there's still room for improvement.
Well, the Danbury Hat Tricks will be debuting new bright orange sweaters tonight as well as part of their new look. We want to remind everyone to follow the Danbury Hat Tricks at Danbury Hat Tricks on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for all essential updates going forward this season. Be sure to subscribe to the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel for live game streams, behind-the-scenes footage, and more all season long. Casey Bryant alongside Zach McGinnis with Jack O'Mara joining us later, but after he is done with the front lines of ticket sales, and it's been very encouraging to see the community support as well. We talked about it last night, but it was definitely the fan energy even after a loss last night, Zach, where the team fell in overtime and still got a standing ovation from the fans last night. You've been in this area for a very long time. This community just rallies around their team, win, lose, or draw.
Casey, I'm reminded of how you signed off with yesterday's game, how you said whatever the result of that game, the important thing is that hockey is back in Danbury. And to your point, that's exactly correct. The fact that the Danbury Hat Tricks are a team, the community is coming out and supporting them. We saw the community after the game as well. There was an autograph session in the concourse. The fans excited to be here, really reconnecting with the players that they've known in the past and the ones that they cheer on now.
And definitely the guys that the Danbury Hat Tricks wanted to rely on before the game came through. Phil Bronner scored a goal. You had Nick Nieder making key stops, but especially during that first and third period, it was just that too much traffic got in the way. What player on the Danbury Hat Tricks do you expect to make a difference tonight?
Well, I'm expecting more out of Phil Bronner. I think that Bronner, you saw Bronner with the goal yesterday. He also got involved in what looked like a fight. He was only called for roughing. But regardless, that was somebody who stepped up. Nick Niedert's going to be on the bench today as the backup goaltender. I expect him to be very vocal on that bench. Get these players, especially these rookies, into the right mindset of where they need to be successful here at the professional level.
And another guy that you have to look out for, Zach, is the guy who scored 2 goals last night, Johnny Ruiz. He came very close to getting a hat trick with a couple of prime scoring chances late in that game. He got bumped up from the second line to the first. Johnny Ruiz is definitely going to be a spark plug for the Hat Tricks today.
Yeah, Ruiz being rewarded for his 2 goals yesterday. We spoke about it in the pregame yesterday about how he wasn't that really expected to be much of a scorer. I believe it was around 12 goals, I think, in college, and yet he pots a pair in his very first professional game. I think Ruiz will be excited. He already knows he can score against this team. Let's see him do it again.
We're joined in the booth now by Jack O'Mara, our third member of the broadcast team, as we have the announcement of the starting lineups going on right now for the Danbury Hat Tricks. And Jack, we were just speaking about Johnny Ruiz, but you definitely saw something from that Danbury offense from Corey Anderson. You called his shot late in the third period when he got that, at the time, go-ahead goal.
Yeah, he picked his spot. He had a great open look in the right side circle, and it's really a tight window to fit that in, but those are the shots as a left-handed player. Those are the stuff that you work on in practice when you have that extra man, special teams advantage. That's a great shot right there. He did a very, very good job to finally convert on what was a dreaded power play effort last night.
And the special teams truly kept the Danbury Hat Tricks in that game with a key power play goal late in the game. We're going to turn you over now to the playing of the national anthem here at the Danbury Arena. Here live at the Danbury Arena, it's Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey. Casey Bryant alongside Zach McGinnis and Jack O'Mara. Starting lineups first for the visiting Port Huron Prowlers. They'll send out on defense Matt Stoya. Beside him, he will have Paul Arnott, who had a key primary assist in the first period. He was a force all evening last night. On the forward line, they will have the dangerous Matt Robertson with Dalton Jay and Matt Graham, the line that was responsible for all 5 goals last night for the Port Huron Prowlers. In goal for the Port Huron Prowlers, they will have number 31, Chris Paulin, who was up to the task when needed last night. Got the win. We'll see if he can get his second in a row tonight. For the Danbury Hat Tricks, on the blue line, they will have Kyle Gonzalez, who had a very active evening, alongside Steve Mealy. On the forward lines, they will have the alternate captain, Phil Bronner, flanking Johnny Ruiz at center, and Matthias Kasich on the right wing. In goal is Tom McGuckin making his first start. That's your Ameriprise Financial goaltending matchup for McGuckin, and it's going to be a big test here early on, especially to see how he handles his first pro game here in the FPHL.
Yeah, you take a look at what McGuckin did last year. He played for Amos SK in the 2nd division in Sweden. In 30 games, he put up a goals against average of .313, a save percentage of .909, a 3-year starter at Franklin Pierce University, making his professional debut in North America today.
And almost sneaking it in on the near side post was Phil Bronner, as Bronner, and it looked like Paulin was surprised that it actually got to him with the velocity that it did. It kind of got tucked into that left toe.
Well, 16 seconds into this game already, and Phil Bronner's just playing heads up right there. Get the puck to the net early. And you kind of get lackadaisical. Nothing's really going to happen in the first couple of minutes, but the Hat Tricks are trying to.
And jostling out in front is another chance out in front. Bronner was behind the net, setting that up for his line mate Johnny Ruiz, trying to get his 3rd goal of the season. Ruiz potted a pair last night in his first pro game coming out of UMass Dartmouth, as the puck gets sent over towards McGuckin, has a little bit of trouble fielding it cleanly and covers it up. The Hat Tricks had a goal 60 seconds into the game last night, and it looked like they almost had a couple of prime scoring chances off the bat here.
we saw a fast start from the Danbury Titans, or from the Danbury Hat-Tricks. As you mentioned, a minute and 1 second into the first period, Johnny Ruiz scores, and then a minute 38 into the second period, Ruiz had his second goal. They still have 38 seconds or so gone by here. They have a chance to do it again.
That is the thing about hockey. It is a marathon, not a sprint, as that puck gets sent out into the neutral zone over by the scorer's box. Jostling forward is Cruz Listmayer. Danbury Hat-Tricks going from left to right on your YouTube screen, donning their home alternates, bright orange with black and white trim. Very sharp unis as they go into the far side corner. Behind the net, chasing after it, is Corey Anderson. Hard check from Listmayer to staple gun a man along the boards, knocks the puck loose, giving chase along with Zach Zolkanich of the Prowlers. Bouncing puck, fielded at the near side point. Maneuvering to his left is Parsons. That shot attempt is blocked out in front. It looked like that hit a diving Zolkanich as he took a check from behind.
He actually did a very good job there on his belly, slapped at the puck, and actually got a shot on net there. But it was an easy save there for McGuckin.
Good job with the hands in front for sure. No matter where your body lies, you want to be able to get some contact with the puck in front. I mean, that's how the Prowlers were able to score the game-winning goal, the game-tying goal. They just got so much pressure on Nieder in front of the net as Gonzalez's shot ricochets off of a body, and it gets fielded by Vladislav Gavrik. Now at the far side point, cycling it to the far side midboards, that's Newberg with a shot that's blocked. That's number 22, Hatham Owed, and it gets played into the Hat-Tricks end. 2 minutes gone by in the action, no score so far. Gonzalez chips it ahead along his own bench. It gets fielded by Arnott and sent into the Hat-Trick zone. Arnott takes a hit behind the play, and we get a whistle down.
So a bit of an interesting start, a slower start certainly than yesterday's game. 2 minutes, 7 seconds gone by here, and we haven't seen the Danbury Hat-Tricks even record a shot on goal yet. They've had chances, but they haven't been able to actually get one on the cage, at least officially for the moment.
We'll see how the Prowlers juggle their lines today as well, because you saw a lot of ice time, especially down the stretch, from that trio of Robertson, Graham, and Dalton Jay. They were responsible for every single goal for the Port Huron Prowlers last night, and it just seemed like whenever you gave them just the tiniest bit of space, they're so quick, they were able to make something happen. 2 minutes, 15 seconds gone by in the first period. Puck gets looped around in the Port Huron zone. It's fielded by a defender, Grigorich, and it gets lifted up into the Port Huron bench. And we'll have the face-off from the Port Huron end to the left of Chris Paulin.
Another offensive zone face-off coming up now for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. They've got their top line out there, Kasich and Bronner on the wings. Let's see what they can do here. Bronner, he's a right-handed shot, so he won't be on the forehand if the face-off is one in his direction.
Face-off is won by Ruiz. Taking a step in is Mealy along the wall. Cuts across the goal line, looks to the net. He scores! What a beauty from Steve Mealy! And the Hat-Tricks lead it 1-0.
Well, knock on the door. Get offensive possession. Get good chances early in this game. And Steve Mealy, he was able to just find a little crease there and move laterally towards the net. So tough to defend. Port Huron's got to do a better job at kind of closing that down.
And you know who has another point now is Johnny Ruiz. He'll get the primary assist on Mealy's first of the season. A very clean face-off win, and Mealy showing some explosive skating that perhaps we didn't see yesterday as he's able to dive around. And you know, nobody was willing to take the body in front for Port Huron. Mealy goes across the goal mouth, basically in the blue paint, and yet nobody lays a glove on him.
And the Carrots go flying out onto the ice. The special promotion tonight where the closest to center ice, I believe, wins a prize as they have to sweep up the Carrots.
Now, this is a tradition that started with the Danbury Whalers. And what they would do is there would be a whale toss after every first goal of the game. And, you know, they kept selling them during the games. If you had a game against Port Huron or Watertown, it's 0-0 going into the third period. You get that first goal, my goodness, this place explodes, and the ice is littered with them.
Well, you always see that, especially when teams have a teddy bear toss. It's always great to see the ice. Sometimes you can't even see the white of the ice anymore.
Oh, certainly. You take a look at, I believe it's Calgary. They have a teddy bear toss. Yeah. I think last season they collected over 50,000 teddy bears.
It was enough to fill the bowl 3 different times over.
That is a lot of teddy bear.
So it looks like we are finally ready to play some hockey. 2.5 minutes into the first period, it was Steve Mealy, the defenseman, who went from the near side point, cutting across the goal line, And goodness me, what a move from Mealy. And that's the kind of activity, Jack, that we definitely want to see from defenders on the Hat-Tricks going forward. Offense from the defense.
It is. We saw it yesterday, too. The huge games that we saw. Gonzalez was very active. You look across that defensive line. If Mealy can really get going, that's going to be a huge plus for this team because you got a couple of guys on this team. You know, Bronner contributed yesterday. Ruiz had a good game. Anderson had a good game offensively. Start getting defenders in that mix, and this team could score a lot of goals.
That forward core was certainly rolling. It was the defense that seemed a bit disjointed. A couple of goals ricocheting off of defenders. Cruz Listmeyer, in particular, punched one into his own net as that puck gets played down towards McGuckin. Actively comes out of his net and banks it off of the back of his own cage.
I like the aggressiveness shown there by the rookie. Keep the puck moving.
Well, he certainly learned a thing or two perhaps last night from Nieder, as now here comes Bormanis circling around trying to feed Anderson. He gets a shot attempt off and it goes wide of the net mouth. Turning around is Nicola Levesque, the player coach for the Hat-Tricks, trying to chip it down low. Good interception there by Robertson. And a stretch pass. Here comes Dalton Jay. Back is Listmeyer. Jay with a shot. Toe save by McGuckin. A good back check by Listmeyer to keep Dalton Jay to the outside of that shooting lane. Jay sensed him coming and teed up a big clapper, but the Prowlers are not done yet. There we are, and now Levesque the other way. Levesque one-on-one, wrist shot goes off of the post and up into the netting. 3.5 minutes gone by, 1-0 Hat-Tricks.
Listmeyer saw plenty of daylight to the far side over the blocker of Chris Poland. Great snapshot, a real quick release. It deflects off the post, it goes out of play, and now we get to see one of the rule changes again as the faceoff stays in the offensive zone. Used to be it didn't touch anybody, faceoff would come outside. Instead, the Hat-Tricks stay on the offense.
Zolkanich wings it back for the white and red. Newberg is able to field it along the far side midboards, taking a swing at it, keeps it in, chips it down low, just out of the reach of Howie. And now a play along the near side midboards. Turning around and starting up ice is Owen. Owen looking to wire it down low. Bouncing puck is turned aside by McGuckin. Trying to catch McGuckin sleeping a bit with a bouncing puck right in front, like a short hop of a first baseman trying to pick it out of the dirt. Taking it and fielding it is Bonnell. He crosses the ice. Over to Gonzalez. Motors ahead, crosses the red line. Cuts to his left, now up to the heart of the ice. Gonzalez is met by a defender. A good play by Owen to take away the puck. And Gonzalez is immediately back to glove out the exit attempt. Well, that's the skating speed of Gonzalez that we saw all yesterday. He's one of those guys whose motor is always running.
Yeah, that's the good thing. The bad thing there is I'd like to see him dump it in a little bit. There's not a lot of room for him to go there. Just kind of fire it in, try to make something happen.
Howie plays it to safety. Listmeyer's slap shot goes well wide. 4.5 minutes gone by in the first period. 1-0 is your score in favor of the Hat-Tricks, thanks to the goal from Mealy. And another point for Johnny Ruiz on that goal as well. Puck is now behind the Port Huron end line. Taking a swing at it and missing was Matthias Kasich. Kept in at the blue line ever so briefly was Crystal. Now turning around and dumping it in is Ruiz. He'll go off for a change. Back behind his net to play the puck is Paul, and he leaves it over to the right side to Portillo. Portillo tries to forward it for Austin Federley. It's out of his reach, and the Hat-Tricks will re-rack from their own end as Freeman has to spin away from a hard hit. Fabian Platzer went head first into the boards there, fanning on the hit. Turnover, and here comes Anderson, 2-on-1 with Bormanis, 3-on-1 if they hurry. Bormanis looks to the net, shot off the pipe! It looked like that caught the inside of the post. How did that not go in?
It looked like Poulin was almost tempting him with the shot to the blocker side. He cheated that way, but it was an off-speed shot that went towards the short side and under the glove.
It looked like he was anticipating the shot far side, and he tried to sneak it in. That was a very savvy shot, and now here come the Hat-Tricks once more with speed. Bormanis looking to send it down low for Levesque. It's intercepted. Moving up ice is Robertson. Great pass up to Vertianen. Vertianen looks to the net. Shot toe save by McGuckin into the near side midboards. And back and forth helter-skelter action as Levesque tries to start up ice.
McGuckin's looked good. He's made a couple of sharp saves. Dalton Jay, who had 2 goals yesterday, stopped him above the crease, and that right pad save right there on a good shot keeps this game scoreless on the visitor side.
You mentioned Dalton Jay and his 2 goals. That is tied for the lead right now in the league But with Johnny Ruiz's assist there, 1 goal and 3 assists moves him into a tie with Matt Robertson for the overall lead leaguer in points.
Gavrik with a great single-handed effort to get the puck into the end there. Good job by Vladislav Gavrik, who is listed at 6'4", 200 pounds. I mean, goodness me, that is a unit out there carrying it in. And he had 2 men on him as the puck bounces now behind the end line. Here's Howie, spins away from a forechecker. Howie gets it out to the far side point, taking a slap shot. Saved by Paul, and it looked like that might have gone off the skates of Newberg. Out to the far side point once more. Teeing up a slap shot and sending it wide was Brennan. And it goes now to the back of the netting. And it looks like the faceoff will come out of the zone.
And Port Huron, they caught a break there. They had some tired legs on the ice. You could see the hat-tricks were just skating in circles around them. Had better anticipation, better movement. Hits the back of the net once again. We saw that a couple times yesterday.
I think that might be something that, as an expansion team, the Danbury Hat-Tricks will have to get used to. We saw 2 whistles yesterday under the same circumstances that killed the offensive momentum that they had going. This rink itself, it's got some quirks. We saw some bounces coming out of the Zamboni corner that perhaps weren't always anticipated. The Hat-Tricks, they'll have to get used to, really, their home ice.
And it was all on that end of the ice, too, those lively bounces that hit off of the end boards, and now a rush opportunity for Kasich as he maneuvers to his left. Takes a check from behind, leaves it for Bronner. Bronner along the goal line has it poked away. A great play by Grigorich. Leaving it now over to the near side. Pfeiffer retrieves for the Prowlers into the corner with Ruiz. Ruiz trying to kick it to himself. A good play by Ruiz to keep it out of the possession of Port Huron. Ruiz still fighting for it. Now the Prowlers finally are able to escape with possession. But not for long as Listmayer takes a whack at it in pinball action. Down it comes and back in. 7:45 gone by in the first period. Entering into the right side is Stoya. Looks to the net, shot wide. Stoya was credited with a goal last night when his shot from the high slot was redirected off of a defensive stick and made its way to the back of the net. That tied the game at 4 to send the game into overtime. He's another defender out there for Port Huron that is dangerous on the other end of the ice as well.
Stoas has presented himself well here in the first 2 games. That goal that you were talking about, under 2 minutes to go in the third period, Danbury thought they were skating away with a victory. And yeah, a deflection went right through the 5-hole of Nick Nieder.
Well, that's the example of all shots are good shots in the final 2 minutes. You simply want to get something to the net and hope that there's a mistake made on the other end. You want to provide as much pressure as possible. 8.5 minutes gone by in the first period. Here's Anderson settling things down. Has Mealy to his right. Mealy now crosses the way up to Levesque. Levesque has Bormanis joining him on the rush. It's a 2-on-3. Levesque, can he get around a man? Yes, he can. To his forehand, that shot is shouldered off by Paulin. A good save by Paulin to keep his body in front of the shot.
And you're seeing the Hat-Tricks. They have a couple of lanes here to just kind of skate in. They keep getting closer and closer to the netminder and Paulin, and that's a good sign for Danbury. Keep trying to push that limit right there and get those close range shots.
And we saw a couple of instances last night of Paulin being caught going down low too soon, and that's how the game-tying goal, or excuse me, the go-ahead goal late in the third period was scored by Anderson. So perhaps reading Paulin's scouting report and trying to catch a mistake as we get a stoppage for an offsides, 9 minutes and 19 seconds into play. And it looks like today is our Halloween costume contest, this being the last game at Danbury before Halloween next Thursday. So during the first intermission, we'll see a bunch of kiddies out there in costume.
Any bets for who the winner's going to be?
I saw a dude wearing, they have those like puffy pants that you almost wear that it's a costume. It was like a dinosaur or something. Looked like Yoshi.
Ah, all right.
My money's on him, but I didn't get to see everyone out there.
I think I was Spider-Man 3 years in a row when I was a kid.
Really?
It's the Tobey Maguire movies had a big impact on my life. As Listmayer hits a shot off the end boards that takes a lively bounce.
I kept it simple. I was a hockey player.
That's a cop-out. You had the equipment already.
It was easy to do.
Puck goes into the near side corner, trying to dig it out is Howie. He leaves it for Bonnell. Bonnell is brought down to his knees and cross-check from behind, and that will be a penalty. As it was Brian Parsons who took one hit too many at Bonnell, and he gets hit with the power play.
Yeah, and he had some more words to say. Did Parsons walking away. That's just one too many hits right there into the back, and the official saw it. He goes to the box for cross-checking. And if you're Danbury right now, you're loving this situation. 10 minutes to go in the opening period. You have the lead already. Keep your foot on the gas pedal. Let's see if they can work on some of the mistakes that they had on the 5-on-4 yesterday.
Yeah, and the Danbury Hat-Tricks, they went 1 for 5 on the power play yesterday. That power play goal was vital when it happened, but that's also 4 opportunities where, quite frankly, they didn't look that good at the beginning. Let's see how they've adjusted to from yesterday into today.
It will be the top unit out for the Hat-Tricks: Bronner, Anderson, Gavrick, Bormanis, and Mealy. Gavrick drops it back for Anderson at the sharp angle at the near side circle. Crosses the way. Finds Bormanis. Bormanis and Mealy out there at the blue line. Back to Bormanis. Takes a step in. Shot swallowed up by Paulin. Seen all the way. Easy save for Paulin.
An easy save for Paulin because he saw it all the way. The shot coming from just about the blue line. But again, we started to see the same mistake as last time, where the Danbury Titans are in an overload power play. They have the puck on the half wall, and yet nobody's moving. Nobody's getting open. It makes it very easy to defend.
Graham wins the faceoff draw on the penalty kill, and they are able to roulette-style wrap it around the boards out into the neutral zone, and Mealy will retreat all the way back to hit behind his net so that the Hat-Tricks can get set up. Anderson picking up ahead of steam and maneuvering up the ice. Finagles his way into the zone. Cuts to his left. Shot again into the crest of Paulin. And the Hat-Tricks are content to simply set up for an offensive zone faceoff with 1:20 to go in the power play, 9:23 in the period.
Yeah, once again, good opportunities, a couple of good shots right there. The traffic in the front of the net needs to get a little bit better. I think that's the one thing right here. But just an overall better effort on the power play here for the Hat-Tricks.
The more you're able to take the goaltender's eyes away, the better, especially with the man advantage. As the faceoff is once more won by Port Huron, but kept in. A spinorama pass by Gonzalez finds Ruiz. Ruiz to the far side corner, Newberg. Back out to Gonzalez, has Levesque to his right. Gonzalez in the high slot. Pitch and catch along the Colonials logo. Feeds a one-time shot. Paddle save by Paulin, and he holds. A good job by Paulin so far in this penalty kill to swallow up all the rebounds that come his way.
Johnny Ruiz looking to get back onto the goal column of the scoring sheet there. But you notice how the Prowlers penalty kill, they were able to follow Gonzalez around because there was nobody on that left-hand wing until Ruiz got in position.
One more faceoff win for the Prowlers on this penalty kill, and a long pass springs Dalton J. McGuckin has to come out of his net and field the puck, and that is the danger of the Port Huron Prowlers. We mentioned a couple times last night, they led the FPHL in shorthanded goals last season with 14, 5 of them scored by Dalton J. Easily number 1 in the league, as here's Newberg forwarding it ahead in on Stoya. Gets behind the goal line. Matthias Kasich providing support. Digs the puck out, has Levesque to his right, finds him. Levesque at the near side circle, out to Gonzalez at the point. There's a one-timer setting up across the way. One-touch pass out to Gonzalez, looks to the net, redirection out in front, saved by Paulin. Rebound is cleared out of danger by Port Huron.
The difference on that shot, it was low. It generated a rebound.
And you had a body in front of Paulin. Even though he made the save, that's the right idea. 10 seconds to go in the power play. Kasich enters in. 8:10 to go in the first period. 1-0 is your score for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Puck is jostled loose in open space, and picking it up is Federley. Carries it in, has it on his backhand, locks a flowing. He sends a backhander that's blockered aside by McGuckin easily. Was going to go wide of the net anyway. And we're back to even strength. The Hat-Tricks officially 0 for 1 on their power play opportunities this evening.
Some solid hockey hair being displayed by Austin Federley there. Can't even see the name on the back of his jersey.
That's true. That's a prime head of hockey lettuce right there, as Gonzalez has the puck sent up into his midsection, but he's able to glove it down. 7:30 to go in the first period. Fielding it in the far side corner and wrapping it around finds Pfeiffer. Port Huron hasn't been able to sustain too much pressure as Sebastian Crystal takes a hit from the referee, and Graham now has an opportunity behind the end line. Takes a hit, feeds it out just wide, Dalton J. And Sebastian Crystal bumped right into the linesman, and he immediately threw his arms up, and that's leading to this prime opportunity as McGuckin is able to bail out the officiating crew.
Oh, man. What a wacky set of events. Puck making smarter decisions in their own zone, and that's why they're holding on here. A couple of good chances. You saw Dalton J kind of sneak in behind the defenseman a little bit. Got to close out on him because he's going to be a danger moving forward in this game. But McGuckin's look good, and this Hat-Tricks team, they got to keep moving forward.
This will be the first opportunity, really, for Port Huron to get some sustained offensive zone pressure. They were pinned in their own end for a very long time, both at even strength and power play. As we have the Jersey Mike's dance-off going up, and now we've fixed at least the input. There we go. We're back online for the video.
Always nice when that happens.
Our cameraman is across the ways from us, so we can really only communicate with hand signals or perhaps blinking lights for Morse code. So we'll do our best. 6:45 to go in the first period. 1-0 is your score in favor of the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Retreating is Portillo. He has the puck, loses control of it, and Bormanis steals it away. Pressure down low in front. Anderson is planting himself in the blue paint at the far side point. Far side post, rather. Puck springs out to the middle of the ice, and a shot from Ruiz gets sent wide. Now across the way, here's Dalton Jay entering in with Robertson in the middle of the ice. Robertson had Listmayer giving him absolutely no breathing room as Listmayer pins him against the wall. Good solid check there by Listmayer. Up the ice, Bonnell. He'll pitchfork it into the Port Huron end and go off for a change after a black and blue shift from the grind line of the Danbury Hat-Tricks.
Danbury's certainly getting involved physically. That was something that they had time struggling with last night.
Long stretch pass intended for Pfeiffer, out of his reach, but he beats the icing as he loops around with it on his backhand. Plays it towards the middle of the ice. Mealy can't control it. Pfeiffer gets it once again and plays it over to the far side to Owed. Owed takes a check but retains possession of the puck and is able to get it on net. McGuckin turns it aside. Howie on the right wing dumps it in. Gavrik will be back to retrieve. Paulin comes out of his net to stop it and tries to play it along the glass, kisses it off the wall, and it finally squibs over the blue line by the far side. 5.5 to go in the first period. Danbury with the lead. And we saw scoring in the final 5 minutes in all three periods last night as well. It was something that was always a threat. You really have to play to the final whistle in this league, and especially against an opponent like Port Huron, where at any moment they can score.
Yeah, they're a seasoned team. They know how to win games when it matters, and for Danbury, you can get a little caught up. It's your opening night. You're feeling good. You got the lead. You had a lead a couple of times. You figure this one has got a hold as McGuckin makes a nice play, shortstop-like, but
acrobatic. He's leaping in the air.
Yeah, you could say that as well. But you feel good. You almost kind of sit back a little bit. And Port Huron, they're going to play to the final whistle. And I think that's something that Billy McCreary definitely probably had something to say about. Let's play a full 60 minutes today. Let's get through those three periods and play well.
It's a good lesson to be learned for the rookies on this team. Many of them were making their professional debut in their last game. The Port Huron Prowlers are an older team. They're a veteran team. Better to learn the lesson in game one than halfway through the season or perhaps even later.
Bormanis up ahead for Levesque, entering in on the left wing. Anderson now in on sides, motors ahead behind the end line. Taken away, here's Bormanis. Feeds Gonzalez at the near side point. Gonzalez tees up a slap shot, seen by Paulin. Anderson was in front of the net and some pushing and shoving as Levesque takes a check after the whistle from Alex Strack. 4:35 to go in the first period, 1-0 your score, and now the fans getting a little restless as Portillo had to be pulled off of a hat-trick Levesque.
Yeah. Portillo with his best Ahmed Mahfouz impression there, getting in the face of the Danbury player. But again, the Port Huron Prowlers are a veteran team. They're trailing right now 1-0. If they can intimidate this Danbury team a bit, it'll make it that much easier to get back into the game. They already know they can do that. They did it 4 times yesterday.
Yeah, you didn't see a lot of that physical play after the whistle, the roughness that you saw, except for the one time when Bronner took off his gloves.
That's true, and Bronner got penalized for that. There were no fights last night, which is something that I think perhaps the faithful from 102 might have been a little disappointed by. After not seeing hockey for 2 years, you want all of it made up for in one night. Turnover now in front, and a chance by Dalton Jay as backhanded just wide. One-touch pass from Graham fed Jay on the far side post, and he shuffled it just wide, and now back the other way. Here come the hat-tricks. And tripped up by the puck is Matthias Kasich, unable to get a shot on net. Robertson enters in on the left side. Loops it around. Wonky bounce off the glass, comes out in front, and McGuckin was surprised by that. He was looking to his right, and all of a sudden the puck was in his lap.
Yeah, you got to be sharp in between the pipes, especially around those corners. The puck a little bit bouncy tonight. That's why Dalton Jay, he was a little bit out of position on that far side.
You never know what could happen as the puck gets stopped by the linesman, and more yelling from the crowd as for the second time the linesman has directly affected the direction of the puck. 3.5 minutes gone by in the first, 3.5 minutes left in the first period. 1-0 your score in favor of the Danbury Hat-Tricks. McGuckin skates behind, stops it just before the Lepresti and Sons sign behind the net as the puck gets sent out into the neutral zone. Bormanis goes flying at center ice in pursuit of the puck. One-handed in, back to retrieve is Kyle Gonzalez. Bormanis settles it down. And Port Huron doing a better job now of pressuring the puck carrier. They're trying to force mistakes as much as possible in that defensive zone.
Yeah, they've had most puck possession in this attacking zone for them all period long. They're finally trying to get something going here, and it's the physical play that I think needs to increase for them.
Zolkanich out there with Grigorich and Pfeiffer on the forward lines trying to generate some action. Here's Crystal taking a swing and able to bank it off the boards and into the neutral zone, out of danger. Gonzalez has to go back and retrieve. Port Huron again just trying to dump it in deep and sustain as much time in the zone as possible, even if you don't have the puck. Eventually, you're trying to force a mistake. Carrying it in, and a hand pass will be called. And we'll get a stoppage with 2:22 to go in the first period.
Oh, first period about to come to an end. 2:22 left, as you said, Casey. Johnny Ruiz was looking for the puck there, had it bounce over his stick. He was looking for the offensive opportunity.
Faceoff will be directly at center ice.
Newberg and the grind line out for the hat tricks here. Let's see how they can end this period.
Listmeyer looks up the left, passes it to the right. Newberg is back to retrieve it as a miscommunication in the Danbury neutral zone. Bonnell in deep to retrieve. Portillo back for the Prowlers. Trying to exit. It's kept in. A redirection in front is sent wide. 2-minute warning in the first period as Bonnell takes a check and retains possession of the puck. Mealy at the near side point finds him. Switching places with Howie. Mealy tries to feed Bonnell on a good pass, but just broken up by the defensive stick of Parsons. Kept in. Portillo back checking on Howie. Gets it out to Listmeyer at the far side point. Fans on the shot attempt, and a backhander is stuffed by Portillo and batted back out into the neutral zone. Good play by Portillo to pressure Listmeyer.
Certainly, he's able to get the puck out. A minute and a half now remaining in the period, and Danbury has to start from their own end.
Here's Gavrick, meandering his way in after he dumps it in. Danbury trying to settle things down for a line change. Crystal comes out to replace the defenseman Listmeyer. 1:15 to go in the period. 1-0 still your score in favor of Danbury. And Port Huron hasn't come too close yet to evening up the score as a lively bounce off the end boards, not covered up by Paulin, and will get a whistle. The net came off its mooring and the horn went off.
Horn guy getting a little excited there, but unfortunately for Danbury, just the net off of the moorings. Interesting, though, how it was Paulin. It was his stick that got caught up in the net, and that's what caused it to come off of its moorings. Let's see where the faceoff ends up.
Well, I can understand the excitement because Paulin came way out of his net behind, and he thought he had it covered, but it was knocked out of his hands. It looked like there was a whack on the wrist that knocked the puck loose. And that's a credit to the forecheck of the Danbury Hat Tricks. You play until the whistle blows. You don't assume that the netminder has it covered up and frozen.
Absolutely. You know, just because you can't see the puck doesn't mean that it's not available. The referee's supposed to blow the whistle as soon as he loses sight of the puck. No whistle, puck still visible somewhere.
Ruiz will be taking the face-off draw for the Danbury Hat Tricks. He's got Bronner setting up directly behind him. We'll see if they can get him back to him for a one-time shot. Robertson taking the draw and winning it for Port Huron. Trying to get it ahead to himself is Dalton Jay. He's met by Crystal, and a hard sandwich check, and Crystal bears the brunt of it as we're in the final minute of play. Jay, one-time shot for Robertson. He scores! Jay to Robertson. Who else? The Prowlers even it up with 49 seconds to go in the frame.
Well, Dalton Jay fumbled the puck a bit as he came over the Danbury blue line, and that drew both defenders, leaving Robertson wide open on the far side. And there's nothing that McGurkin can do on that case. It's Matt Robertson, one of the deadliest shooters in this league, sends one up high over the sprawling body of the goaltender.
And what have we been saying all evening, Zach? You give this line just the slightest bit of room, and they will make you pay. There's Robertson finding just a little bit of space across the way, recognizing that he has the odd man advantage, and Jay is able to find him. I mean, that's such a tremendous play, a heady play from two experienced forwards in this league.
Two experienced forwards who have an established chemistry as well.
Absolutely.
Dalton Jay and Matt Graham, they played together here in Danbury a couple of years ago. They've been out in Port Huron. Matt Robertson is the kind of player who can play well with just about anybody. There's a reason why that line scored every goal in yesterday's game. There's a reason why they tied things up here towards the end of the first.
So once more we have a score in the final minute of the period. Seems like that's been the story all weekend, as with 30 seconds to go, the puck is sent into the Port Huron zone. Fielding it behind his net and settling it down is Zolkanich. Ricochets it off the wall, and it gets sent in towards McGuckin. Stops it on his paddle and is able to fling it up the ice. Zolkanich with 15 seconds to go, looking across the way to Robertson. It's picked off. Levesque feeds Anderson. That shot fought off by Paulin. Settled down once more by Anderson. That shot goes off the side of the net. 5 seconds to go in the frame. Bouncing puck. Levesque can't settle it down. It's loose in the high slot. Turnaround shot goes well up into the netting, and we will get a stop with 0.3 seconds remaining in the first period. 1-1 will be your score heading into the first intermission, barring a miracle.
Well, I really like the effort that Anderson was showing there. Under 20 seconds to go in the period, certainly an easy excuse to take your foot off the gas pedal. Instead, he gets a shot on goal. He keeps the puck down in the offensive end. That's what Danbury needs as they go into the second period.
The faceoff will be in the neutral zone, so it will most assuredly not go in the back of the net, as both sides just give each other an acknowledging tap of support as the mere formality of the final faceoff is complete. We are through one period here at the Danbury Arena. The score is tied 1-1. A last-minute goal scored by Matt Robertson brings the score to even. The shots on goal favored Port Huron in that frame 12-11, but it certainly didn't feel that way, Zach, at all.
No, I think those last few Port Huron shots really came in a cluster towards the end of the period. Danbury did a much better job of maintaining possession of the puck in the offensive zone. They also did a better job defensively, keeping Port Huron to the outside. The one time that they do break down defensively and you have two defenders going to the same puck carrier, it results in a goal and a tie game.
Well, we're heading into the first intermission. We'll be back with coverage of the Danbury Hat-Tricks against the Port Huron Prowlers in just a little bit after they cut the ice. It's time now for the Halloween costume contest here at the Danbury Arena, and we've got ourselves some buttes out on the ice. It looks like we've got ourselves a robber, a witch. I am personally a fan of whatever. Is that an ostrich on the far side?
I think, on the far side, that is a great question.
I believe that is a person riding an ostrich.
You know, you don't see many ostriches being ridden these days.
At least not in this part of the country.
No, certainly not here. Down in the Southwest is a different story. Let's see what else we have here. We have a stormtrooper. We have a couple Disney princesses.
Look at Brent Burns.
Oh, that's Mini Burns out there.
Look at Brent Burns. Oh, that's beautiful.
With
oh, my God.
With the beard and everything.
We got a Dalmatian on the left side. Goodness me. Well, this is too adorable for me to handle. I'm going to head off air so I can appropriately coo at how adorable this is. You're watching Danbury Hat-Tricks Hockey on the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. I'm Casey Bryant with Zach McGinnis and Jack O'Mara. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to coverage of the Danbury Hat Tricks against the Port Huron Prowlers live from Danbury Arena. Casey Bryant, it's time for a out-of-town scoreboard update. Here's Zach McGinnis.
Thanks, Casey. Down in Delaware at the end of the first period, the Delaware Thunder, on a pair of power play goals by Ryan Marker, have a 3-1 lead over the Columbus River Dragons. Elsewhere in the league, no goals yet. 5 minutes gone by in Elmira. The Carolina Thunderbirds and the Elmira Enforcers tied 0-0. With 11 minutes remaining in the first period, the Watertown Wolves and the Mentor Icebreakers are still looking for their first goal. And out in Michigan, the Battle Creek Rumblebees, 5 minutes into the first period, scoreless with the Danville Dashers. Meanwhile, here in Danbury, getting the hat tricks on the board was Steve Mealy, his first of the year. It was assisted by Johnny Ruiz at the 2:28 mark. And then with 49 seconds remaining at the 19:11 mark, for Port Huron, it's Matt Robertson, his second of the year, with Dalton Jay and Matt Graham, two former Danbury players, getting the assists.
Well, that was your out-of-town scoreboard update. Thank you very much, Zach, and we'll have Jack O'Mara back in the booth with us briefly. And it's a good thing that Battle Creek at least is improving their state of play, at least after taking a 7-1 L last night against Danville in their opener.
Yeah, you know, when you're Battle Creek, especially their rink, it's an older rink, it's an older fan base as well. They're used to seeing teams be successful. A 7-1 loss in your home opener, not exactly the start that you want, but they're holding even with the Danville Dashers for now.
Well, it looks like our players are mingling out onto the ice. It's time for the second period of Danbury Hat Tricks hockey here at Danbury Arena. A good crowd on hand to take in the second regular season contest of the FPHL for Danbury. Now, after the first period, yet again, the Hat Tricks allow a goal in the final 2 minutes of a period. What do they need to do to tighten up to make sure that stops from happening?
Well, like Coach said, they have to play a full 60 minutes, and if you're going to do that, that means playing a full 20 minutes in the period. We saw them get a little lackadaisical on the defensive side of things towards the end of the first, and it ended up costing them. Now, how can they prevent that from happening? Well, if they keep their pedal to the metal on the offensive side of things, we saw that towards the end of the period as Corey Anderson really driving possession, nearly put Danbury in the lead going into the first intermission. Didn't quite work out for them. They need to come out fast in this period. The first 5 minutes, get this crowd up on their feet and put Port Huron back on their heels.
The crowd is certainly longing for an opportunity to really go wild, and with the newly renovated second floor, you've got fans really on top of the ice, and you feel like if they're given a fight, if they're given a goal early in the period, it'll really give them an opportunity to get back into the game. Hockey is very much so a game of momentum swings.
Certainly. And Port Huron, they have the momentum right now. They scored the most recent goal, and they win the opening faceoff.
There's Graham maneuvering over to the left wing. Port Huron going from left to right on your YouTube screen, donning their road white jerseys with red and black striping along the sleeves. Back to retrieve is Steve Mealy, the lone goal scorer for the Danbury Hat Tricks. Loses the handle on the puck. It's taken away. Pass out in front. Toe save by McGuckin. A great stop on a Dalton Jay shot. Another second chance effort as Graham chops at it, but it bounces out into the neutral zone. Stoya back to stop it. Jay in on the right side. Maneuvers the puck over to the near side corner. Now a centering pass out in front. Jay was brought down to the ice, and there will be a whistle as a result of it. It will be a tripping call going against the Danbury Hat Tricks, and I believe it will be Kyle Gonzalez.
It will be Gonzalez going to the box. It will be Port Huron's first power play. They scored on their first power play in yesterday's game, but before that penalty taken by Gonzalez, what a save by McGuckin as he's able to kick that left toe out and make the save. Not an easy one on a great shot selection by Dalton Jay.
So it'll be the first power play opportunity for the Port Huron Prowlers. They'll have Federley out there with Vartiainen and Portillo on the forward lines, with Stoya and Pfeiffer holding down the blue line. So 43 seconds into the second period, Port Huron has a chance to take their first lead of the game.
We'll see how long this second power play unit for Port Huron is out on the ice. We'll see how quickly Dalton Jay, Matt Graham, and Matt Robertson get themselves back out on the ice. They are the most dangerous line for Port Huron. They've scored every goal so far this weekend.
tied up and sent into the near side corner. A scrum developing as a bouncing puck gets whacked at out into the neutral zone by Levesque. It will go down the full length of the ice. Paulin will come out of his net. Stoya settles it down. Stoya, who last played in the NAHL, gets the puck up now to Federle. Skates in, that shot is blocker down. A second chance is kicked out by McGuckin. A good opportunity there for the Prowlers, but McGuckin with a spry move there to keep on his feet.
And right after that, Nikola Levesque able to use all 6'2" of his body to get the puck out of the zone.
Here's Stoya with speed. Wrapping around the perimeter of the zone, gets it out to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer trying to one-hand it down towards McGuckin. It's broken up by the defender Brennan and sent out into safety. Minute 10 to go in the power play opportunity for the Prowlers. Here's Vartiainen. Vartiainen, who had the primary assist on the overtime winner last night. Setting up shop is Dalton J. Takes a step in and fires it right into the orange on the center of the sweater for McGuckin. We get a stoppage with 56 seconds to go in the power play. 1 minute and 47 seconds. Math is hard. Into the second period.
Oh, good shot selection by Dalton J there as Port Huron was in the middle of a change. Jay puts one on goal. He has some pace on it, so McGuckin has to make the save and hold on, and now they get a full line change.
Mealy is able to skate out of danger and send it down, and the Port Huron Prowlers once more will have to set things up from behind their own net. Picking it up and skating ahead is Paul Arnott, who has not seen a whole lot of ice time so far in this game, but is a very key member of that power play for the Prowlers. Very offensively active, had himself a primary assist last night. In the near side corner, it goes Robertson. Chipping it along the walls, Okanich throws a check to get it over to Dalton J in the far side corner for the Prowlers. 25 seconds to go in the power play, and the Tricks are able to clear.
Oh, good clear there by Danbury as it was Adam Howie who actually had a clearing attempt go off his back.
Jay now has Graham down low, passes just behind him. And back on that puck was Mealy, and now here's a shorthanded opportunity for Bormanis. Bormanis looks to the net, saved by Paulin. Puck is loose out in front, and Paulin springs on the puck. Pouncing on it headlong after that initial shot. It looked like Paulin was a bit surprised that it came towards him shorthanded. It looked like he wasn't anticipating it.
No, not only that, it almost turned into a 2-on-1. Good job by the Port Huron defenders to get back. A good shot selection by Bormanis. You saw Steve Mealy sneaking in. He was calling for the puck. He was open, but again, shorthanded. Unless that pass is tape to tape, it's a 2-on-1 at a minimum going the other way. That's how Port Huron ended up winning in overtime yesterday.
Federle wins the draw back to Stoya, his defender. We are back to even strength, and a long stretch pass is ahead of Grigorich. Trying to keep it in the zone is Portillo along the near side midboards. He does battle with Gavrik as Gavrik takes a hard check from Grigorich. And Gavrik is a hard player to bring down to his feet, down to his knees. He's so big and strong that he's one of the more punishing players out there for the Tricks. He's posting up in the high slot if they can get it to him. Fancy move by Anderson. He's being tied up by Grigorich. Now out to the far side circle. That shot attempt is redirected up off of the ceiling.
That's 2 for 2 in games with the puck going off the top here.
Which you wouldn't expect because this is a very spacious barn.
It really is, but that one catches one of the I-beams about 45 feet above the goal line. It'll keep the face-off inside the Port Huron end.
We'll have to get out the tape measure to see how accurate that estimation is.
You're the one going up, though. I'll hold the ladder.
Face-off is won by the Tricks, but a shot attempt is immediately stuffed Mutombo style right in front of the hash marks. Parsons loops it around to the far side. It goes through the wickets of Grigorich. Fighting forward is Federle. Federle has seen a lot more ice time in this game. He's been very steady as Stoya drags the toe and gets it over to the far side circle. Cutting to the net shot. I believe McGuckin got a piece of it. And a nifty move there from the defender Stoya getting in deep, trying to pull what Steve Mealy pulled earlier in the game.
Yeah, Matt Stoya, he only had 1 goal last year before turning professional. He already has 1 this year, scoring yesterday, showing off the hands.
Stoya last played for the Jamestown Rebels in the NAHL, one of the top junior leagues in the country. Behind the net it goes. Here's Mealy being pressured now by Owett, has to get the puck out of reach and simply sends it into an area. Now skating in is Jarrett Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer, the Indiana Tech graduate, plays it out in front of the net, but it's broken up by the defensive stick of Brennan. And out into the neutral zone it goes. Taking a step in is Kasich. Stops short in the near side corner. wraps it around to Bormanis. Ruiz making his way towards the slot, instead plays it behind the net, looking to blindly set it up, but it hit off the back of the cage. Kasich throws a hard check, a little bit of line juggling here now for Billy McCreary and company, trying to get that second line going by throwing Kasich back on the second line.
Hey, spread out the skill a little bit, see how, while you don't have it all concentrated in one line, you spread it out, perhaps it leads to a little more offense, as Danbury still has not recorded a shot on goal in this period.
That's true. The shots on goal right now, only a couple for Port Huron. They have 2 registered in the period. Well, the Hat-Tricks have yet to get one towards Paulin. We are 5 minutes into the period, and it looks like there will be a penalty assessed to Kyle Gonzalez once more. He will take his second trip to the penalty box in this period, so it'll be a second power play opportunity. I didn't happen to see that play on Gonzalez.
No, with Gonzalez, it was behind the play, but here in the FPHL, you have a 2-referee system. They're going to catch things behind the play.
So it will be Graham, Robertson, Jay out there with Zulkanich, and completing the 5-man unit is the man fielding the puck right now, Jarrett Pfeiffer, the lone defender. As 4 lethal forwards out there for the Prowlers, still hunting for that first lead of the game for them. As the puck gets sent down towards McGuckin, and he uses his blocker to freeze the puck. 17 seconds into the power play. 5 minutes 13 gone by in the second period.
Well, Port Huron now on their 6th power play of the season. This is their second of the game. They're 0 for 1 so far. They've only generated 4 power play shots on goal so far, and yet they're converting at 20%.
It will be Zulkanich taking the draw this time. It was Graham the first time around. Puck trickles back into the Port Huron end. Back to retrieve is Paul Arnott. Arnott from behind Paulin gets it over to Robertson on the right side. Great pass from east to west up to Dalton Jay, crosses 2 lines. Jay centering pass, Zulkanich, backhand shot, just goes wide of the net mouth. Ooh, a tricky shot there by Zulkanich, almost caught McGuckin out of position. Here's Jay retaining possession. That shot attempt he has goes off of a body. Arnott calling for the puck in the high slot. He wants it for that one-timer. Here's Bronner on the penalty kill, getting it for the Hat-Tricks. One more turnaround, clearing attempt is kept in. Here's Robertson with space, tees up a slap shot high and wide. It might have caught the glove of McGuckin, and it goes through the wickets of Arnott and out into the neutral zone.
Well, Hat-Tricks catch a break there. Puck escapes the zone, and they're able to get a much-needed change.
And the puck gets one-handed into the blue paint. And joining the booth here after an extended shift behind the ticket table is Jack O'Mara. Welcome back into the fold, Jack.
Thank you, guys.
It's a hefty run up those stairs, isn't it?
It is. I was out of breath.
You don't feel it until you finally put the mic on and go to speak.
Settle down. Yep.
We'll get you there. A little cardio, you'll be fine.
I think we're all a little bit out of shape. That's why we're up here and not down there.
Absolutely.
It'll be Federley taking the draw for the Prowlers, going up against number 17, Adam Howie. Won by the Prowlers, crossing the way. Here's Vartiainen. 40 seconds to go in the power play. Vartiainen wires it to his right. Rebound try is saved by McGuckin. Goodness me, McGuckin going from the near side post to the far side and was able to get his body in front of it. It wasn't pretty, but he made the stop.
That's Pfeiffer with the shot. He's a right-handed shot, and really, at least from our angle, it looked like he had an empty net to shoot at. McGuckin goes diving across. I think he might have caught it with the back end of his blocker, the glove hand side of the blocker, because somehow he kept that out.
It'll be Portillo once more getting the faceoff draw, but it's the defender Mealy winning the draw for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. His first faceoff attempt of the year is a successful one, but the Prowlers are able to pin it into the zone. Here's Stoya. Calling for it is Vartiainen to his right. Stoya skates to his right, looking for open space, drags the toe, forehand shot is seen and held by McGuckin. Just a little bit too selfish there was Stoya, trying to keep it for himself and electing for a low percentage shot.
Well, he had a good look. I mean, the Hat-Tricks defense was giving him all the space he wanted. And you see a little bit more of a porous shift here since the start of the second period. Got to lock it up a little bit more here for the Hat-Tricks.
Not only did Stoya have as much room as he wanted, he had whatever passing lanes he wanted as well.
Puck carried up by Anderson. He's got a one-on-one with 10 seconds to go, short-handed. Anderson trying a fancy move to get it over to the right, but it's a great poke check by Stoya. So Stoya making up for the offensive mistake on one end. able to make a great defensive play, and we have a check, and I believe the Prowlers are coming in offsides. 7 minutes flat gone by in the second period, and we're back to even strength.
Jack, you had mentioned the porosity of Danbury's penalty kill there, and you're absolutely right. Guys are losing their assignments. They're supposed to stay in a box, and there's a formation to it. Instead, you see players switching around when the puck hasn't moved, when players haven't moved. It wasn't a good penalty kill for Danbury, but they keep this a tie game.
Porosity, I like that.
It's an SAT word. For someone who always takes cracks about how far removed from taking the SATs he is. 7 minutes, 15 seconds into the second period. Here's Dalton J. Trying to lead Matt Robertson. It's behind him, and Listmayer ties up a man, and that will most definitely be a holding call as Listmayer had his arms wrapped around it. And, oh my, did McGuckin get that?
He did.
Goodness me, McGuckin from down on his backside. Full extension, and, well, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. McGuckin, I believe, lost his footing, and he still got the puck.
And you see the reaction from him. He kind of tilted his head saying, okay, I made that save. That's an unbelievable save right there.
You play it off cool like you always meant to do that.
Going for style points was McGuckin there.
The negative side of this is obviously the Hat-Tricks have to go back on the penalty kill. Haven't really been able to get anything going offensively here in the period of the long change. And being back on the penalty kill is not going to help their cause on the offensive side of the ice.
Port Huron certainly more disciplined today than they were yesterday. In yesterday's game, Zach Zolkanich taking 3 penalties, Danbury with 5 power play opportunities. Now, Danbury's only had 1 opportunity on the power play. Port Huron goes back onto the man advantage. They are 0 for 2 so far.
Zolkanich taking the draw for the power play. Winning it back, though, was Newberg for the Hat-Tricks. Here's Mealy spinning away from a hit, trying to chip it up along the wall. It's kept in by Dalton J. Gets it over to Zolkanich. Has a man drifting down low in front of the net, and Graham setting the screen. Arnott calling for the puck at the far side point. Gets it. Bronner out there with Mealy, Newberg, and number 18, Tom Freeman on the penalty kill. Cross-ice pass intended for Robertson, not fielded cleanly, so the Hat-Tricks have a chance to adjust. A redirection goes off of a pair of skates. But sent wide and a hard check in the near side corner. No whistle on that one as Zolkanich is slow to get back to his feet. Arnott, high slot. Bronner diving in front of him. Roberts, tic-tac-toe pass to Dalton J at the far side. Saved by McGuckin. The net is off its mooring. That right post is loose, but there will be no whistle as the Tricks get a clear, and the net comes, well, McGuckin is trying to get the attention of the officiating crew. It's still off, and now the whistle is blown for an offsides anyway. McGuckin was getting frustrated that the linesman wasn't hearing his pleas to get the net back on.
He's still not hearing it.
I don't think they've noticed yet. It's pretty easy to see. We can see it from up here, and it looks like Gonzalez will come on over and show the boys exactly what they're missing out on.
So there's still 1:07 to go in the penalty to Cruz Listmayer. We're 8 minutes and 19 seconds gone by in the second frame. Tie game 1-1. The Prowlers getting yet another opportunity to get a power play goal. They're 0 for 2 so far. They've gotten plenty of chances, but they just haven't been able to solve McGuckin yet.
Yeah, he's been very, very sharp, and in the plays where, you know, he's not able to get there, it seems like Port Huron's firing the puck wide a lot. I'd like to see a little bit more shots on target from them. Good offensive production. They're moving the puck well. Just got to get to the puck to the net.
Federley cycling it with Vartian and feeds a one-time shot from Stoya, snatched out of the air by McGuckin. A flashy glove save. And McGuckin has done a really great job of limiting those second chances as well. He's been able to absorb the puck so well into his body. That's soft hands.
Yeah, you got to be happy if you're Billy McCreary. And Nick Nieder yesterday, I mean, he had a great game. The scoreline won't tell you that, but both goaltenders, I think, have made the saves that they need to make in this series.
And you can certainly say that so far about McGuckin. This is a player making his professional debut in North America. He's playing a fantastic game so far. Nothing he can do on the one goal that he gave up, and he's had a couple highlight reel saves in the meantime.
Here's another chance for McGuckin to prove himself as the puck gets sent into the near side corner with 30 seconds to go on the power play. Thinking about a slap shot, but thinking better of it, Vartianen. Now he cuts to his left, has two hat tricks in front of him, dances around him, yawning net mouth, and they score. Federley perfectly placed between the hash marks. It's a power play goal for the Prowlers. They lead 2-1.
And that's a poor defensive shift there for the hat tricks. They get caught, don't make the change, and you see all of the four defenders peering in at the puck. All of a sudden, Federley's on the back door right there. Nobody picks him up. And there's nothing you can do there if you're McGuckin. I mean, that's a wide open cage. You got to move so quickly across post to post. He's not going to make that stop.
And Zach, what a great play by Vartiainen to set that whole thing up.
Absolutely. It was his stick handling that drew in the Danbury defenders.
And a step in, an immediate shot off the faceoff is gloved away by McGuckin. It goes into the near side corner. We are back to 5-on-5 action. 9 minutes, 15 seconds gone by into the second period, and the Port Huron Prowlers have their first lead of the game. Here's Gavrik entering in, loses his footing a bit, had a stick tied up with him. Turnaround shot by Gavrik will be swallowed up, but there was a whistle. And it looks like we will have a delayed penalty going up against Port Huron, a tripping call going against the Prowlers.
Yeah, that was delayed. I thought it should have happened a lot sooner, but it was the back official, the one on the other side of the ice, who made that call. It was tough to hear the whistle from that far a distance.
And they blew it so late, the whistle, that it was almost, the Hat-Tricks had possession of the puck.
Yep.
There was almost some confusion as Gavrik fired the shot.
It's Alex Strack who's going to the box for tripping. Danbury will go on to their second power play opportunity. This is the first time all weekend that Port Huron has held a lead. Let's see how Danbury responds to this adversity.
To the far side point it goes. Mealy cuts it off. Great job by Mealy to use the wheels, keep it in the zone. So 2 minutes for tripping for Strack. And it will be Anderson, Bronner, Gavrik, the forward line. Mealy and Bormanis patrolling the blue line, and an errant pass by Mealy. And now here's a shorthanded look for Robertson. Slows up, looking for the blind pass, and now an opportunity, a rush chance for the Hat-Tricks. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Here's Mealy, looking across the way to the trailer. Bronner tees up a shot, goes wide. Paulin was facing pressure in front by Anderson. Keeping it in is Bormanis to Levesque, crossing the way to Bronner. Loses the handle. Bormanis just barely able to keep it in at the blue line. Bronner with another pass that's broken up. A great play by Graham to get a stick on that.
Great kill.
That's two passes across the length of the penalty kill, both times intercepted. Danbury needs to change that.
Halfway through the power play, here's Anderson dropping it back, intended for Levesque. Dalton J read it well, but Levesque able to cross the way. Shot! Saved by Paul and fought it off with the shoulder. Kept in at the blue line once more. Here's Levesque again, calling for it in front. Anderson, but a shot attempt by Levesque goes up into the netting, and Anderson, there was a body in the way, but ooh boy, if they were able to get the puck to him, he was there.
Yeah, it was Arnott who came across there. It just went off of his skate, and if it goes by him, that's a dangerous, dangerous chance there. But you're right, Zach, we were talking the sticks in the lanes. Great job up until that last play right there. The Port Huron Prowlers have done a great job at getting sticks in lanes, killing off this penalty. Still another 52 to go, though.
On that last pass, they finally were able to spread out the Port Huron defense where you have that passing lane. You can't force that cross-ice pass, especially against a veteran crew like Port Huron puts out.
It'll be Newberg taking the draw against Dalton J. Newberg is the center for Kasich and Ruiz. Gonzalez and Levesque will patrol the blue line for the Hat-Tricks with 45 seconds to go on the power play. Kasich fighting for it. Vartiainen wins it away. Good play by Vartiainen to get it down the length of the ice. That's such upper body strength by Vartiainen to win the puck away and box Kasich out. As a hard check brings a man down to the ice, Gonzalez lost his footing. That one was Dalton J sending that check.
Who else would you have forechecking if you're on the penalty kill?
Absolutely. You want someone with speed and some hands that can make a play. Jay has such good instincts. As Kasich fights his way in, throws the truck stick on Dalton J. Levesque leaves it for Kasich in the far side corner, wraps it back for Levesque, has a man at the point, and Gonzalez holds onto it. Pass attempt failed him, but now it's Kasich once more, trying to get it out to Newberg. Broken play, saved by Paulin. And the puck was just bouncing around, and the Hat-Tricks entering a little bit into panic mode as the power play is officially expired. Here's Ruiz up the right wing. Leads Kasich, has it poked away from him. And boy, the Prowlers have been doing such a great job of clogging the passing lanes, but that will be a trip, an easy call. That one going against the Danbury Hat-Tricks as a headlong attempt brought a man down to the ice.
Well, it's Johnny Ruiz who's going to be going to the box. He was at the end of his shift. He plays as a defenseman on the power play. He was just quite simply out of energy. He dives out for a puck rather than taking an extra stride or two, and now Danbury has another penalty to kill after giving up a power play goal.
And what a response in this second period for the Prowlers. I mean, they got that goal late in the first, and they have turned it on since then. They've shut down Danbury defensively, and they've been able to make good attempts at the net against McGuckin.
So it'll be yet another penalty kill for the Danbury Hat Tricks. The Prowlers do have a power play goal. Right now it's the go-ahead goal. Here's Portillo settling it down, looking towards the net and fires it into the crest of the sweater of McGuckin, and he stops it 12 seconds into the kill. 8:04 remaining in the second period, and Listmayer trying to mix it up with Portillo.
Well, you try and get something going here. You know, you're now trailing by 1. You're not getting the offense that you want at this point. Danbury has recorded, what, 1 or 2 shots on goal total this period?
Many.
No, they're being outshot 23-12 right now. They need to get things going offensively, but at the same time, if they're continuously going to the box, this is Port Huron's 4th power play now. They're 1 for 3. If they keep going to the box, it's going to be a long night.
Vartiainen at the point with Stoya. Second unit out there for the Prowlers as that shot is kicked away by Listmayer. Bronner fields and tries to get it down the length of the ice, but good reach by Stoya to corral it. Gets it up to Federley on the right wing, has the goal. Federley in the near side circle, stops short, has a forechecker in front of him in Mealy. Out to the far side corner it goes, wrapping it around the boards, once more stopped by the linesman. They gotta work on their hops a little bit. Their skates are glued too close to the ice as that puck gets blocked up, and another how do you do from Listmayer as he gives a face wash to Federley, and Federley then takes a check from Bronner.
Oh, go ahead.
You look at Federley, I mean, he's 5'6". He's Jack O'Mara height right there. I mean, that's he's not the biggest guy on the ice, and he's found a way both games this series to pick on guys like Phil Bronner, who's about 8 inches taller than him.
Well, you know who else was 5'6", Jack, is Martin St. Louis, Matt Zuccarello. Some of the best players out there were short. So don't sell yourself short, to use a play on words.
Well, speaking of play on words, well, look at playoff words. Jose Altuve, he's 5'6", and he eliminated the Yankees from the playoffs.
That's true. He's in the World Series right now against the Washington Nationals. The Astros were able to win a game last night to bring it to 2-1. It's been a road series so far in the World Series.
It really has. The Astros, I know, were planning on going with a bullpen game tonight. I prefer the frozen variety in front of us here.
Robertson with a one-time shot that gets snagged out of the air by McGuckin. McGuckin has been very solid with that glove hand today.
Yeah, you could see him just tracking it from outside. Looked like it might have gone, shot that might have gone wide. But nonetheless, you got to have those in McGuckin. You said it, Casey. He's been sharp.
It's almost to the point where you think about trying in blocker side more often because they've been firing it to his left so much. They might think about the other way, and a mishandled puck by Arnott at the point. Pressuring was Howie. He had a full head of steam ahead of him, was trying to read the play and get a breakaway for himself, but good job by Arnott to reconcile the play. Here's a pass out to Dalton Jay. Bodies strewn across the center of the ice. Robertson gets it over to Arnott. Wheels his way behind the end line. Pass out in front, broken up by McGuckin. Loose puck out in front. Howie brought down from behind, and that will be a trip. As it goes down the length of the ice, it will be stopped by Paulin, and that will be a penalty. A trip against the Prowlers, and the Tricks have a chance to answer.
Oh, both referees on the ice and the 1,000 of them in the stands all putting their arm up at the same time. That will negate the last 28 seconds of the Port Huron power play, and it will give Danbury an offensive zone face-off, a zone that they've been allergic to so far this period.
It'll be Graham going to the box for the trip. So it'll be 4-on-4 for 28 seconds, and then it'll be 1:32 of a power play for Danbury. 6:44 to go in the second period. The Prowlers lead 2-1. It'll be Levesque out there with Anderson, Mealy, and Gonzalez as the four-man unit. Taking the draw will be Federley for the Prowlers. He's got to his right number 16, Brian Parsons, with Stoya and Pfeiffer holding down the blue line. Mealy, one-hand pass out to Gonzalez, mishandled. And boy, now here's a chance for Pfeiffer breaking in on McGuckin, stopped by McGuckin. Pfeiffer didn't have enough time to get it out to the front of the net to get a clear shot. And boy, that's a cardinal sin right there. Mishandled play on the blue line. You got to sense the pressure. 5 seconds to go in the penalty, so Port Huron will hold it down, try to kill some precious seconds, as here's Pfeiffer once more. Pfeiffer will dump it in, as now the power play is officially in effect for Danbury. Bronner is waiting for it at the far side blue line, as the Tricks maneuver their way up with some quick passing. Mealy winds and fires, shot just wide. Bronner stops it at the near side point, turns around, but it's intercepted and taken away by Jay. Jay with speed has Stoya joining him on the rush. Jay dragging the toe, gets it behind the net. Robertson calling for it in front, gets it out to him, but it goes past him. And now here come the Tricks in transition. Here comes Mealy, slowing things down, crossing to Anderson in the slot, gets it back over to Mealy, shot, kick save by Paulin. 50 seconds to go in the power play. Here's Anderson again, leaves it back for Mealy, but winding and getting it off of Mealy's midsection was Robertson. Here's Levesque, settling it down at the near side circle. Calling for it is Bormanis at the near side point. Instead finds Bronner down low. Out to Mealy at the far side point with 30 seconds to go in the power play. Here's Bormanis. Down low to Levesque. Has a sharp angle to the net, gets it out to Bormanis. High slot, cuts to his right, loses the handle on the puck. Robertson is out there with Jay Stoya. And a pass out in front. Levesque couldn't get a full stick blade on it. And it will be lifted well up out of play and into the Hat Tricks bench. And it should be, might that be a delay of game?
I think it will be here, as you see the linesman coming over with the referee at the bottom of your screen. And yes, they're pointing towards the scorer's table. Let's see who the player is. Unless they're just talking about where the face-off's going to be.
They're conferring. I believe they might be trying to determine if it hit off of a stick out into the Hat Tricks bench. You saw Billy McCreary take a step up onto his bench, trying to indicate that he thinks it should be a penalty. But it doesn't look like there will be any immediate motions, and the door is closed over.
Oh, no, they are going
to call it. And a roar of approval from the Danbury faithful, as it will be a power play for the Danbury Hat Tricks of 5-on-3. So they had 15 seconds of 5-on-3 and then another extended power play. And Jack, this is a huge opportunity for the Tricks.
Well, they had a great movement of the puck there. Not a lot of good shot opportunities. I'd like to see a little bit more pucks to the net from the Hat Tricks. And you have a little bit more space now, just 3 guys on the other side of things. And going to that penalty, guys, we got a pretty good view here. I think the officials got it right. I didn't see a deflection as it went out of play. It looked like it was a straight shot out.
This is a great opportunity for Danbury. Not only is it a 5-on-3, but it's Dalton Jay who's in the box for 2 minutes for the delay of game. Their best penalty killer will have to watch this one from the sin bin.
It will be the defender taking the draw and losing it, Arnott, but Gonzalez couldn't hold the zone. It hopped over his stick. And a groan from the Hat Tricks fans in attendance here tonight, as now Gonzalez once more entering in with speed, leaves it for Ruiz, has Bormanis in the high slot. Extra skater on for the Port Huron Prowlers. It's 5-on-4. Here's Kasich behind the net, skates out, finds Bormanis, crosses the way to Gonzalez, back over to the far side circle. Kasich's one-time shot deflects up into the netting. It caught Paulin in the battle of his stick.
Oh, finally the Tricks are able to move it around the zone, and it results in a great shot on goal by Matthias Kasich. A good chance for the Hat Tricks. That is only their 5th shot on goal this period. We only have 4:29 left, but maybe now they can start getting something going.
And that was the best shift right there for Kasich. He's had kind of a quiet night for Danbury, but right there, a couple of crucial passes, then he gets himself wide open for that slap shot one-timer. It's just a good stick save there by Paulin.
A last-second change here as Zach Zulkanich comes out onto the ice for the Port Huron Prowlers. They'll have Zulkanich and Graham, 2 dangerous forwards, out there with Vartiainen and Arnott. As Graham gets kicked out of the faceoff dot, it will be Zulkanich taking it. Anderson wins it back for the Tricks. Minute 30 to go in the power play, 4:30 to go in the period. Pass out to the far side post. Anderson will instead shovel it out to the far side point. Wings it over to Bormanis. Skates to his right, has a man behind him, switching places. That shot goes off the pipe! He rang iron, did Mealy. Mealy again at the far side point. Stick up in the air as Bormanis finds him. That one-time shot goes wide. Paulin was out of position, but a lively bounce off the glass will trickle all the way back towards the Hat Tricks end.
Bormanis has to hit the net there. If he hits the net, odds are it's in the goal. But by missing the way he did high and wide, it rings around the glass and clears the zone for Port Huron.
Here's Bormanis entering back in once more with 45 seconds to go in the power play, 3:45 to go, and we will get a stoppage of play. As you said it, Zach, that was a hard shot. It looked like he was teeing up a golf shot there because he had his stick way up in the air behind him.
It's a momentum killer. There's some action on the ice here. Not sure what's going on, but it's a momentum killer. You have great puck movement again, and another great shot across, and Paulin's lucky. It's first time in quite some time that he's got lucky, but it's been the post that's been his friend 3 times tonight. Hat-tricks have had great chances, but have hit the iron a couple of times. I don't know, guys. Are we looking at another player going to the box?
Well, Federley is apoplectic right now looking at the officiating crew, and Robertson is incensed as well. It looks like Federley will be going off. I must have missed something because I didn't see anything particularly egregious out in the neutral zone. I might be on Federley's side as, yeah, indeed, it will be Alex Grigorich going to the box.
Was Grigorich even on the ice?
I don't know. Are they saying too many men, perhaps?
It's quite possible.
That could be as the puck was over by the bench at the stoppage of play.
And if the puck was touched by a player coming onto the ice before the player coming off was fully off the ice, it is too many men on the ice. Let's listen to the official call.
That shot attempt goes wide. It is too many men indeed. So Bormanis now tees up a slap shot, thinks about it, thinks better of it, gets it again for a slapper, goes off the end boards, and a rebound try goes past Anderson. So 5-on-3 for 25 more seconds for the Hat-Tricks. Out to Bormanis at the near side point. Has Mealy out there with him. Gavrik setting up in the slot. Finds Bronner near side point. Pass attempt out in front. Paulin scrambling for it. Dives on the puck and is able to get his blocker hand on it. Lost the control of his stick in the process. And Bronner was down low and he was just waiting to get it across to Anderson there. He wanted it badly.
Yeah, he saw that goal line pass right there, and you know how good Anderson is in that right side circle. And it's just a great play. Paulin just gets a piece of it and then able to dolphin dive on top of it to make the stop. He's got to clean himself the snow shower.
Boy, they're allowing a lot of time for the Prowlers to make these line changes while on the penalty kill. It's a savvy move by Joe Pace and company to try and slow down the momentum on the power play.
Again, the Port Huron Prowlers, they are a veteran team. They know all the little tricks. They know all the little tools of gamemanship. You see what's going on right here. They've got 13 seconds left to kill on a 5-on-3, but they essentially get a timeout for free. It's been over a minute of real time since the puck was in play.
The faceoff beat to the right of Paulin. It's Anderson drawing it and winning it. Back to Bormanis. Chops down at the bouncing puck, but unable to retain possession in the zone. They'll have to start it again from the neutral zone. Bormanis retreats, gets it up to Newberg, leaves it for Anderson, enters in. First penalty has expired, minute 15 to go in the second. Newberg cuts to his right, shot, save, rebound, another save, Paulin! Here's Mealy behind the net mouth, trying to get it out in front. Bronner, turnaround shot, he scored! No, yes! Goodness me, Bedlam in front! That's Anderson capping off the play!
Holy cow, I thought it had actually gone in from Bronner there. But nonetheless, Anderson, sharp play, falls on the rebound. A couple of really good chances for the Hat-Tricks. Rebounds bouncing all over the place. Paulin can't stop them all. Eventually, one's got to go in. Great response, and that's what happens when you put too many guys in the box.
And a good job by Corey Anderson to stay on the play. That initial shot, it looked like it went in. And whether it went off the back bar or something else like that, a great job by Anderson not to get distracted. Instead, he sees the puck come right to him, puts it over the outstretched glove of Chris Paulin, and we are tied at 2.
I couldn't believe that first shot didn't go in. It really rattled the cage. It hit the far side corner of the crossbar.
And how it came out.
Absolutely. It looked like it rattled the cage. I couldn't believe that Bronner shot went in. Everyone on the ice started celebrating, and it looked like the Prowlers stopped skating. And credit to Anderson, who made a definitive movement to the back of the net to make sure that was, in fact, a goal. But now we'll have a high stick, as Vartiainen had his helmet knocked off. He lost his lid.
And it's going to be Cruz Listmayer going to the box. Only 2:21 here, and this is dangerous for Danbury because they had the momentum. They had just tied it up. They had woken up the fans here who had gotten a little quiet during the second period, but now they go on to their 5th penalty kill. Port Huron's 1 for 4 so far in this game, and they have an opportunity to jump on the lead again.
A 5th penalty kill, you mentioned, all in this period. And 2 of them have been Listmayer.
And you know what that does? We're halfway through this game. You're seeing the same players out there on the penalty kill. You have to start wondering about the stamina of the players. You have to wonder if maybe you see different penalty killers put out there.
So it'll be Gonzalez trying to shuffleboard it out of the zone, but it's kept in by Port Huron. It'll be 2 minutes. If they are able to successfully kill it off, it will all but end the period. But here's Robertson dragging the toe and gets a wrist shot bouncing up in the blue paint. And they will say no goal as it's kept out and the net is off its mooring. And Gonzalez went into the net, but not the puck.
Well, yesterday you mentioned Nick Needert. He was a bit on, he's not the tallest of goaltenders. Thomas McGuckin, he's not very tall either, only at 5'10". When he was down in his butterfly there, he really had to reach up. He only got a portion of the puck, but it was enough to keep it out.
Well, goaltenders nowadays are getting taller and taller. You're seeing more Ben Bishops and fewer Tim Thomases in the league, where guys are coming out of their net and actively challenging shooters.
And you see that really as part of the butterfly style as well. A bigger body, they're playing the angles. Very little to shoot at when it's done correctly.
So the faceoff will come out of the hat trick zone, as they will say it was a Prowler who knocked the net off its mooring. And it's Solkanich taking the draw right in front of the scorer's box on the far side. Going up against him will be Newberg defensively. Newberg and Bronner, the penalty-killing forwards. Here's Graham. Backhands it over to Robertson. Out to the high slot. Arnott thinks about a shot, instead dishes it to Jay. Jay slings it towards the net, and that one gets swallowed up by McGuckin.
Good job by McGuckin to follow the puck there, not giving anything for Port Huron to shoot at. That's Port Huron's 28th shot on the game. McGuckin has stopped 26 of them, but again, a strong power play by Port Huron here.
McGuckin really has been the best penalty killer all day for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, and he's faced a bunch of tough chances against one of the most lethal power play units in the league. Puck gets sent over to Kasich on the near side midboards. A good move by Kasich to kill some time as he skates ahead, crosses red line, blue line, enters in, hits the truck stick on Dalton Jay and knocks him down with the puck carrier. Good hit by Kasich with the puck. Minute 15 to go in the power play, minute 35 to go in the period. It is a 2-2 hockey game here at Danbury Arena, thanks to the answer from Corey Anderson, his second goal of the season. Back to retrieve is Arnott with a minute to go in the power play. Arnott looks ahead on the left side, has Jay on the left wing, takes a step in, and tries to set up shop with Robertson behind the end line. Back to retrieve for Danbury is Gonzalez as he lifts it and gets it down the full 200.
Casey, you mentioned Port Huron and their power play. They come into this game tied for second, converting at 25%. Yesterday in Danville's 7-1 drubbing of the Battle Creek Rumblebees, they scored 4 power play goals.
Special teams is all too important. Here's Bronner short-handed, looking to the net, broken up by Arnott. Good play, and Paulin, he was way out of his net there. I don't know what he was doing, losing his footing out in front. But here's Bronner tying up some more precious seconds. He's got 2 Prowlers fighting for the puck. What strength by Bronner to chew up some time. 15 seconds to go in the power play. 35 to go in the period. I'm amazed the refs aren't blowing the whistle. Bronner getting a roar of approval. And McCreary is livid over on the bench. He's screaming at the officiating crew. Here's Portillo. The power play is officially over. And that one-time shot by Vartianen goes up into the netting. And we have a stoppage of 19 seconds. And the biggest applause of the day goes to alternate captain Phil Bronner.
Well, Phil Bronner just working down low. And what I think Coach Billy McCreary was yelling about was Austin Federley. As Bronner had that puck pinned up against the boards, Federley ended up stomping down on top of Bronner's skate, the skate that was holding the puck. Clearly illegal. Federley gets away with one, and good to see Bronner not injured by the play. And you see Billy McCreary now at the bottom of your screens talking to the referees because he saw this. We saw it up here. A dangerous play by Federley.
Well, we had 3 different Prowlers tag teaming Bronner. It looked like it was Friday Night SmackDown. That was last night on Fox Sports.
Can't say I tuned into that one.
No, I was a little busy at the hockey rink. We have 19 seconds to go in the second period. We want to remind everyone to follow the Danbury Hat-Tricks at Danbury Hat-Tricks on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Later tonight, you'll be able to see our junior reporter, Jaron Mershon, who is posting up right now behind the Port Huron net, waiting for the Hat-Tricks to go off ice. He'll have an interview with head coach Billy McCreary coming up, and he'll be participating in our post-game press conference. Good for Jaron. We love seeing kids getting involved.
Absolutely. I mean, you take what a dream come true for this young gentleman. He'll get to interview professional hockey, coach professional hockey players, a night he'll never forget.
Absolutely, and one day he'll be taking our jobs. It brings a tear to your eye.
Well, we have a couple years left before he can drive, but until then, I think we're okay.
You're closer to retirement than I am.
This is very true.
Graham and Levesque will face off to the left of McGuckin. That shot attempt flutters wide of the net mouth. 15 seconds to go in the period. Levesque throws a cross check behind, no whistle. Here's Ruiz entering in with 10 seconds to go. Ruiz sends it into an area. Mealy wasn't there in time. 5 seconds to go. Ruiz skates out to open ice, bouncing out in front. Levesque takes a swing at it, but can't get it towards the net mouth. And that will do it for the second period as we get a how do you do from Levesque and Graham.
Well, I think familiarity breeds contempt. These teams have now completed 5 periods in less than 24 hours. They don't like each other too much anymore.
So we have the second period has officially ended, but now we have a little bit of a holdup as neither team wants to exit the ice just yet. The blood was just beginning to pump through the veins. They want to finish the fight.
And especially Danbury's door is right behind the Port Huron bench. The referees would be well served to get the Port Huron Prowlers away from that so that the teams can actually go to the locker rooms.
So we will have an intermission coming up here on the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel. You're watching Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey. Casey Bryant alongside Zach McGinnis, and we'll throw it down later in the evening on the Danbury Hat Tricks social media to Jack O'Mara, who's with Jaron Mershon, our junior reporter. We'll be back for Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to coverage of the Danbury Hat Tricks against the Port Huron Prowlers. Time now for an out-of-town scoreboard report. Here's Zach McGinnis.
Thanks, Casey. Down in Delaware, the Thunder are rolling 6-2 at the end of 2 over the Columbus River Dragons. Brandon Contrado with a pair of goals just about 9 minutes apart. Ryan Marker with 2 assists on those goals. He now has 4 points in that game over the expansion Columbus River Dragons. Meanwhile, in Elmira, the Carolina Thunderbirds, courtesy of Stanislav Batcher, have a 1-0 lead over the Elmira Enforcers. Still looking for the first goal of the game between the Mentor Icebreakers and the Watertown Wolves. The Danville Dashers and the Battle Creek Rumblebees. The Dashers have a 3-1 lead 4 minutes into the second period. They defeated Battle Creek 7-1 yesterday. And then right here in Danbury, we are tied at 2 between the Danbury Hat Tricks and the Port Huron Prowlers. In that second period, it was Austin Federley scoring at the 9:06 marks, Larry Vartinen and Justin Portillo with the assists. And at the 17-14 mark on the power play, Corey Anderson finds the back of the net. Josh Newberg, Steve Mealy, his second point of the game, has tied things up.
Thank you very much. That was your out-of-town scoreboard report brought to you by Zach McGinnis. Thank you very much, Zach. Well, getting back to the matter at hand here at Danbury Arena, it was a great answer goal by Corey Anderson, but now we have yet another tight game here at Danbury Arena, and the Hat Tricks have not led since the first period. What do they need to do now in the final frame to really jump out in front and command their first victory?
Well, they need to get back into the offensive zone. For the first 10 minutes of that second period, they only had 1 shot on goal. Eventually, they ended up recording 10 for the frame compared to 19 for Port Huron. They're being outshot officially 30-20 right now are the Danbury Hat Tricks. They have to keep things in the offensive zone, simplify, and don't force it. We saw on the power play 2 cross-ice passes, which were easily defensed away by Port Huron. Keep it simple and get one in the goal.
Well, the second period has proved to be difficult in both last night and tonight's game. Well, last night they were drastically outshot in the second period, but they came away with the score advantage. Tonight, they took 5 different penalties in the second period. So staying out of the box will most certainly be a focal point. I'm sure that was mentioned in Billy McCreary's intermission speech.
Oh, I'm certain of that. Danbury stayed out of the box for the first period, and then 43 seconds in, Kyle Gonzalez began the conga line to the penalty box. Luckily for Danbury, 3 of the last 4 penalties taken were by Port Huron, and they were rewarded with that power play goal. But that power play goal only came after they gave up 1 themselves.
If there's going to be anyone to score for the Hat Tricks in this period, who is it?
I still like Phil Bronner. We have seen Phil Bronner already early on in the season put the team on his back. I think it's not going to be a pretty goal. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be down low. And it'll probably just slide over the goal line as everybody else piles on in. But I like Phil Bronner. How about you, Casey? Who's your money on for this period?
You know, it's hard not to have money on the guy who was so much a source of energy last night in Johnny Ruiz, Bronner's line mate. If it's not Bronner getting it done in front of the net, why not Ruiz in space out in front of the net? Because I like Ruiz when he's posted up between those hash marks. He can be a dangerous scorer. We'll find out the result of this game here right up next as it's time for Danbury Hat Tricks hockey. Puck is sent into the far side corner of the Port Huron zone. Danbury Hat Tricks skating from left to right in their bright orange jerseys has a stretch pass intended for Dalton Jay. Almost a breakaway opportunity seconds into the game, and boy, would that have been a disaster.
Well, how many times have we seen that already in these past 2 games? Dalton Jay hanging out by the Danbury blue line, the Danbury defenseman not giving him the respect that he deserves. And again, if that puck settles down on Dalton Jay's stick, he's in on a breakaway.
Faceoff will be to the left of McGuckin. It will be Ruiz taking the draw against Graham, tied up and bouncing in the faceoff dot. It's won by the Prowlers. Shot attempt by Dalton Jay goes off of a leg. Pass out in front, bouncing puck, and it's cleared out by Ruiz. And almost a dirty goal for the Prowlers as they were getting to the areas in front. And now there's another pass backdoor. Here's Robertson trying to stuff it in at the far side. Stopped by McGuckin, and he holds. And boy, Royal Road is wide open for this line yet again. They keep getting these passes from post to post in front.
Not only that, but McGuckin is having to constantly bail out his defenseman. He took a chance on that last opportunity by Robertson as he was in the butterfly position, but on the side of the net, preventing Robertson from sending it up on that far side. If Robertson picks his head up and sees where the goaltender is and decides to come to the near side, there's a whole lot of net that would be open.
It's Listmeyer and Brennan who's holding down the fort on the blue line for the hat tricks as Bormanis is able to escape. He enters into the Port Huron zone, tries to get it to his backhand and feed Anderson, but can't connect with him. Jostling forward in the near side midboards, Port Huron is able to take away, and here's Vartiainen coming up the left wing. Vartiainen will simply wire it ahead. McGuckin comes out of his net to stop the puck, and here's Kyle Gonzalez up the left wing. Finds Levesque. Levesque up to Bormanis. Bormanis will pitchfork it into the zone. A minute 15 gone by in the third period, where score is tied at 2-2. Both teams hunting for all important points in this league, where every single game matters as that puck bounces up, and Johnny Ruiz gloves it down on the hat tricks bench as we're joined in the broadcast booth by Jack O'Mara. Jack, you had a chance to interact with, if I may say so, he may be coming for our jobs one day, Jaron Mershon, our junior reporter, who was great interviewing Billy McCreary.
He was outstanding, and you talk about prospect pools in baseball, it's so big. Hockey, it's big. Look at the broadcast prospect pool. Jaron Mershon, he's a class act. He's a great kid. And you could just tell how happy he was to be there with Billy McCreary.
Sign that boy up for STAA today. Into the neutral zone it goes. Listmeyer can't play the puck cleanly as trying to forward it ahead is Hatham Owed. He's stripped from behind by Howie as he kisses it off the glass and sends it out into the neutral zone. It's Paul Arnott looking up by skating backwards with his nose to the net. Listmeyer able to field it at the blue line. Fighting for a bouncing puck. No one has possession. Who wants it? Zolkandic takes it, but simply sends it out into open space. As here's Listmeyer again. And Listmeyer was penalized twice. Once resulted in a goal for the Danbury Hat Tricks. And here's Kasich cutting to his left. In on Portillo. Trying to get around him. Has another Prowler defending him, but Kasich is able to wire it down low. Good job by Kasich forcing his way through. Gonzalez sends it down low again to Kasich. Kasich on the goal line, loses the handle on the puck. Brought down to the ice and ringing it, I believe, off the pipe was Howie. And here's Kasich dragging the toe. Nifty move with the stick. He's brought down to the ice, no call. Gonzalez maneuvers his way in. Newberg, far side corner, sets up in front for Kasich, kicks it back into the far side corner. Over to retrieve his Crystal fresh on for a new shift.
That's something that Danbury had struggled with, getting stuck in a zone. Here, they're able to hold on to offensive possession. They get the line change while keeping the puck down deep.
And boy, Port Huron is doing such a great job of giving Danbury no room to think or breathe when they have the puck. There's another example of it right there. As soon as a Danbury hat trick gets the puck in the offensive zone, they're on them like white on rice. It's crazy. Out into the neutral zone here, Stoya making his way in on the far side. Stoya looks to the net, off the glass wide. Robertson picks up the trailer. Robertson crossing the way, and Ruiz will simply whack it down, and he gives a little how do you do to Stoya, unbeknownst to the officiating crew.
Well, that's one of those ticky-tack things that you don't see all the time, but it happens right under your nose as an official, and part of the gamesmanship of the game there is Ruiz says, yep, I know it's an icing. Just be aware I'm behind you, buddy.
That's gamesmanship right there, especially how chippy the second period ended. Again, with as contentious a period, it's always been feisty, but never to the point of all-out violence. There has not been a fight yet in either one of these games as McGuckin snares that one out of the air. A hard slap shot by Stoya, which was a laser beam.
You mentioned how there hasn't been a fight yet. Hockey itself as a sport is changing, but for those of you at home who want to see the fights, they're coming. Trust me on this one, it is still the Federal League. You have a bunch of rookies out there. Everybody kind of wants to get their own feeling. They want to get comfortable before they drop the gloves, at least for Danbury. For Port Huron, you take a look at someone like a Justin Portillo. There are plenty of guys on Port Huron who are willing to drop the gloves. But in a tight game like this, you're more useful to your team staying on the ice.
3.5 minutes into the third period, we're tied at 2. Both teams feeling each other out in the early goings of the third period, seeing who wants to make the first real move. Port Huron has had a couple of chances in front, Trading chances back and forth. Here's Listmeyer looking to the net. It goes off of the defensive stick of Stoya and out into the netting, right across from the New York Rangers sponsorship banner, as they're a proud supporter of the Danbury Arena.
And you talk about the Rangers support. We had a chance to speak with Ron Rogel of the New York Rangers sled hockey team yesterday. He's their goaltender. Potentially they will be here that team will be here at some point later on this season. The Rangers have an equipment donation box here as well. Really great stuff.
Bouncing puck out in front is cleared out of danger. Almost a tacky play out in front, as now here comes Dalton Jay in on Mealy. Jay with speed, shot save McGuckin, rebound goes off of the skates of Freeman. Here's Anderson leaving it back for his defender Mealy. Mealy senses pressure and is able to swiftly move it. And here's Anderson up the heart of the ice. Sticked from behind by Zulkanich. Good play by Zulkanich, as that will be a hand pass against the Danbury Hat-Tricks, and we'll get a stoppage 4 minutes and 10 seconds into the period.
You need a little bit more possession time, a little bit more shots from the Hat-Tricks right here. It's great that they got that goal from Anderson again, but you got to keep going here. If you're Danbury, you want to get yourself back into a winning position here and try to hold on to it, too.
You got to provide some breathing room, Zach.
Yeah,
absolutely. You take a look at the shots on goal. Danbury has 3 so far this period. Port Huron has 7, and they've had the majority of possession as well.
It'll be Gavrik winning the draw for the Hat-Tricks. Gavrik out there with Bonnell and Newberg. As the puck gets sent up into the netting, that went off of a defensive stick, so we'll do it right in the offensive zone.
Nice catch by the fan behind the net there. Not sure if they got it with the hand or the beer.
I think he saved the beer, luckily. He's still drinking. So
that's impressive. If you can juggle both, that's where talent comes into play. It's right over there next to Ralph the ice cream guy in the far side corner. You're lucky you didn't get a puck with your sprinkles. Bunnell in the far side corner. It's taken away by Port Huron, and up the ice they come. Here's Owed sending it in deep. In to retrieve is Jarrett Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer, who's been active around the net mouth today, a physical player. Has not found the back of the net yet, but he's one of those gritty guys that has been setting things up all game, as there he is stymieing another chance along the wall. Here's Mealy, who has seen a lot of ice time today, up to Gavrik, the power forward. Gavrik will simply send it towards the net, and goodness me, that was a misplay by Paulin, and an opportunity for Gavrik as a result. Gavrik out to the high slot over to Brennan. Dishes it to Gonzalez, who slides it down low, wrapping around the boards into the skates of Bonnell. Skates around a man on the goal line, trying to get a fancy pass out in front, and Bonnell perhaps a bit too French with it as he gets it out in front.
Well, he had the right idea. There was just no one on the connecting effort, and it all developed from that little knuckleball from Gavrik on net. Paulin was tested there on a wacky shot, but nothing coming once again for the Hat-Tricks.
5 minutes, 20 seconds into this third period. We're still looking for the go-ahead goal on either side as that puck goes rattling around the boards. It gets stopped along the Port Huron Prowlers bench. It will be no icing. It will not reach the goal line.
Lucky Port Huron wasn't called for too many men on the ice there. We've already seen them do that once already.
That's true. I couldn't tell if that hit a player or it hit off of the stanchion between the bench and the continuation of the boards. Here's Bronner on the right wing, entering in with Ruiz. Ruiz will skate towards the net. He tries to wire it down low to him, can't connect. Here's Kasich now, reunited with Bronner and Ruiz on the top line after spending a couple shifts on the second line. So Kasich has been one of those swingmen who hasn't really been able to find a consistent line mate in this game. They're trying to get him going as that shot attempt is saved by McGuckin and goes up into the netting.
And you talk about Kasich. He played with Port Huron last season. I'm almost expecting more from him because of that. You take a look at what he was able to do last season. Now he's on the other side of things, but he hasn't been as big of a presence as we were anticipating.
Faceoff will be to the right of McGuckin. It will be Graham, Jay, and Robertson out there for the Prowlers, countered by Anderson, Borlanis, and Levesque. Leaping into the air, trying to keep it into the zone, was Paul Arnott. He's unable to do so, so Port Huron will try to reset, and a bouncing puck almost skips by Kyle Gonzalez, and there was Jay lurking. But now here comes Mealy. In aggressively on the left wing, Levesque joins him on the rush. He finds Levesque. Levesque spins away from a hit. Puck is finding its way out into the blue line, and boy, the direction finder has just been a little off today for the Danbury Hat-Tricks as they enter into the offensive zone.
Yeah, you've seen just a couple of misfires on their passes. Kasich had that last time where he just went behind the back into no man's land. That one goes all the way in the reverse direction for the Hat-Tricks. got to be a little bit crisper. Try to find the sticks that you're going to and not just into no man's land.
Stoya in with Owen. Owen was too far ahead, and that will be an offside 7 minutes exactly into the third period.
One too many stick handles by the blue line there. So the faceoff will come out into the neutral zone. We're tied at 2, 7 minutes gone by here. And, well, Danbury, they haven't had another shot on goal since we last mentioned it. Meanwhile, Port Huron has poured on another couple on the goal of Thomas McGurkin. Danbury needs to get it going offensively. Like you said, gripping the stick a bit too tightly. Simplify, slow it down.
Here's Howie trying to corral the puck along the Danbury bench. That was right in front of assistant coach John Krapinski as Listmayer takes a hard check from Zolkanich. Zolkanich goes barreling, and he's holding onto his leg, and Listmayer brings him down on top of him. There's no whistle. They're letting him play, even though Zolkanich was hugging his leg like, who is that? Van Gundy and Spreewell.
Now that's a callback.
I was searching for the name.
It was a little while ago.
Well, who could forget? 7.5 minutes into the third period, we're tied 2-2. It'll be an offensive zone draw for the Danbury Hat-Tricks.
And you know, that in that last tie-up down in the defensive zone, the referee was staring at him the entire time. They decided to let him play.
Won by the Hat-Tricks. Kasich's shot rattles off the side of the cage. Bronner fighting for it on the far side, and there's another helmet that's jostled loose by Vertianen. He took a stick to the face, and he's holding it. We'll see if he's cut.
Well, Casey, I didn't see either referee put up an arm.
That's true.
This could very well be friendly fire and Vertianen on the wrong end of it.
That's the second time Vertianen has lost his bucket today. He lost it in the second period in a similar location on that far end.
Yeah, I don't know if Vertianen is cut. He may, well, you know, you just can't tell, especially with some of these jerseys. They have advertisements in certain places.
It doesn't look like it from this angle. He was checking his neck, checking his nose, and I think to his chagrin, he is not bleeding, so he was unable to get a call out of it. Ruiz fighting for the puck, trying to direct it towards the net mouth, unable to do so. Bouncing puck skips by Gonzalez. Out of his net to play it is McGuckin. He'll freeze it. And with Portillo trading back and forth with Crystal and Gonzalez, they had a who wants to hold them? You want to hold them. You want to hold them.
You see how Portillo can be a bit of a rabble-rouser for the Port Huron. You see the snow on the shoulders of the goaltender as Portillo came in with speed, and of course he did the proper gentlemanly thing and stopped right before impact.
It's these pesky players that Port Huron has. Portillo, Federley, as we get a delayed call, a slash, I believe, right out the gate of the face-off, so I believe we will have a power play coming.
And it's going to be Federley going to the box again. It will be 2 minutes for hooking, but it gives Danbury their 6th power play opportunity. They're 1 for 5 so far. They haven't been able to get much momentum going here in the third period. They'll have an opportunity here. They have to at least get a couple shots on goal here.
And the biggest thing is, don't take a penalty here, because we've seen it plenty of times today where we have 5-on-4s go to 4-on-4s, 4-on-3s, you know, and then it gets all crazy out of whack for the scorers. But this is a perfect opportunity here. 12 minutes to go. Put one in the back of the net and get yourself right where you belong.
It's an excellent point, Jack, talking about trading penalties, because there is seemingly the last 10 minutes of the second period were all trading power plays. Here's Bormanis switching places with Mealy. Finds Anderson down low. Anderson out there with Gavrik and Bronner, the big boys out there for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Here's Gavrik. Has Bormanis high slot, dishes it to Mealy. Mealy back to Bormanis, high slot, thinks about a slap shot, has a man right in front of him. Graham not giving an inch. Here's Mealy looking to the net, off a skate, blocked out in front, picked up by the defender Parsons, and not out of the zone yet. It's stopped by Gavrik, and a hard check by Bronner makes a man down. And now it's finally forced out into the neutral zone. Hard checking from the power forwards on this Hat-Tricks power play. As the man is brought down along the Port Huron bench, it was Bormanis who took a tumble.
You know, we were talking about the movement that the Danbury Hat-Tricks need on this power play. You just saw 2 defensemen playing pitch and catch right at the blue line, and yet all 3 players, sure, they were getting traffic in front of the net, but there was no shooting lane there. There was nothing that they could do.
Yeah, they almost got too close together, I think, at that blue line. It was Mealy was in Bormanis' back pocket there trying to say, hey, get me the puck here. You got to spread out a little bit more.
They're switching places, and right now there's a communication, perhaps just exchanging pleasantries and wondering what's a great spot to eat after the game. I mean, the post-game party for today is being held at TK's American Cafe, so you could always venture there for a bite to eat after the game.
Yeah, it was Matt Graham who was shaken up on the play, actually, so training staff was out there on the ice.
Graham landed right on top of poor Manis there.
And Graham went awkwardly into the boards, and as a player and as a coach for Port Huron, his teammates are looking to him for leadership. Let's see how Matt Graham responds to getting shaken up like that.
He's one of the impact players for the Prowlers, and you'll see how Port Huron takes exception to that because they do have enough guys on the ice that are unafraid to mix it up. Kasich in with speed with a minute to go on the power play. 9 minutes into the third period, still looking for the go-ahead goal. We're tied at 2. Pass gets redirected over to the far side corner, and it will be cleared out. So again clogging the passing lanes.
Exactly. Levesque, again, rushing a pass that he didn't exactly have there. It results in a turnover.
Yeah, Zach, we're thinking the same thing there. There's just too many bodies in that way. Doesn't need to pass that puck. Turns it over again.
And again, the linesman getting in the way and an opportunity. Here's Dalton J on the backhand, forced wide. And boy, Sebastian Crystal came together with a man over on the far side. Excuse me, that was number 19, Ruiz, who was mixing it up. So 15 seconds to go in the power play. 9.5 gone by in the third period. So one last rush opportunity if they can get a handle on the puck, but instead it'll be Robertson escaping and sending it into the shoulder of McGuckin. He can't hold on to it. So we're officially back at 5-on-5, and once more the Hat-Tricks are fruitless on their power play. And to be honest, they didn't even provide that much pressure on Paulin.
No, they officially not recording a shot on goal. They couldn't get things set up the way they wanted to. They're forcing passes they shouldn't be making, and they're allowing Port Huron once again to stay in this game.
And each successful kill, we talk about how momentum shifts from point to point as we get our media timeout. Successful kills can really swing momentum in your favor. Even though you're taking penalties, if you get the solid defensive play and you're blocking a few shots and you're interrupting the communications lines, that's an easy way to get your bench fired up.
They've done it both games, guys. I mean, Port Huron, yeah, they've had a lot of penalty minutes, but their entry, I mean, at the blue line, they've been so locked down, and the Hat-Tricks haven't been able to generate a lot of movement on the perimeter like we talked about yesterday, and that's been a problem for Danbury. That's something that they'll have to take a look at the film at, see what we can do better. And as for Port Huron, what are we doing great? Let's keep doing that.
Well, you saw a great example of that of Matthias Kasich trying to break into the zone, stick handling through the neutral zone. He's getting nothing going that way. There's always a Prowler who he has to deal with. He turns the puck over, it gets sent all the way down the ice. And Casey, to your point, it set a power play on the board, but Danbury never felt like they were in control of the puck down low.
So we'll officially reach the halfway point here in the third period, and we're coming down to the final few minutes. And once again, we have a game coming down to the wire against the Prowlers and the Hat-Tricks. It's encouraging, certainly, for a team just getting their feet wet in the FPHL to be so competitive with a playoff team from last season, but eventually you've got to secure the win. You've got to get that third point.
Well, they'll learn their lesson too. It's a growing aspect. This entire operation has been since day one. You got to find a rhythm. You got to find your identity, and I think that's something that you still have to figure out if you're Danbury. What is our identity? What are we? What's our brand of hockey? And I think as soon as they figure that out, they'll be in good shape.
That's great. That's a great point, Jack, because talk is one thing, and actually exemplifying it is another. And I don't know if they've really found their rhythm in either sense yet. So that's a great point. Puck wraps around to the far side corner. Gavrik doing work, trying to win the puck away to Bonnell, who hasn't seen a lot of ice time, but it looks like he just drew a penalty. Bonnell took a hook. As now here's Brennan rifling it towards the net, but it will be cut off by Vertianen. And a good shift by the Johnny on the spot, Gordy Bonnell, who drew the penalty.
Well, Danbury once again will go on to the power play. They are 1 for 6 so far. If Port Huron keeps giving Danbury these opportunities, if they're going to be successful this year, they need to cash in on them. Port Huron is really shooting themselves in the foot with this freight train to the penalty box. Yeah, sure, they're not happy about taking the penalties. They're preventable penalties, and Danbury has to take advantage. If Danbury wants to win this game, this is the way they have to do it.
Face-off is won by Anderson. A key power play opportunity for the Hat-Tricks as that slap shot hits off of the end boards. It's Gavrick, Bronner, and Anderson, the forward lines, as we get a stoppage of play as the right post came off. Bormanis and Mealy complete the 5-man unit. Out there on the penalty kill is Dalton J. and Zach Zolkanich on the forward lines, Paul Arna and Matt Stoya. Yeah, that key penalty kill unit for the Prowlers.
We talk about the conga line to the penalty box for the Prowlers. In yesterday's game, Zach Zolkanich took 3 penalties. He has played a very disciplined game today.
Absolutely. He's a dangerous player when he's out there on the ice. They need him. Bormanis, high slot, looks to the net, goes off of a defensive skate. That's Stoya once more blocking the shooting lanes. It's just not there in open ice. We're getting a glimpse at what the team is like when they think one thing is there in practice, and in a game situation, it's completely different. Gavrick to the near side corner, Anderson feeds Mealy, pitch and catch now to the near side wall. Shot through traffic, bouncing around in the blue paint, trying to stuff it home as Bronner. Did they get it in? No signal. No, they'll say no goal. The horn is sounding. The arms are up, but there's no goal. And the crowd wants an explanation. And I believe that the Hat-Tricks bench wants one too.
I don't blame him. That puck was loose. It was a great shot selection by Corey Anderson. It was nice low to the slot. Phil Bronner in front. Casey, we spoke about it at the beginning of the period. They needed an ugly one. They nearly had one there, but the referee waves the goal off, and I think that call will stand.
Goodness, that was dangerously close as a loose puck out in the blue paint. Paulin was just barely able to fall on it, and we get now a show of disapproval from the Danbury Hat-Tricks faithful as Bronner came, what was it, inches, millimeters away from putting that one home?
It was close. It was very close. Paulin was looking for the puck. At one point, you saw the 31 on his back as he was doing pirouettes in the blue paint. But somehow, at least according to the referees, he managed to keep that out.
Well, the Hat-Tricks, they'll feel like they've been robbed, but the positive thing in there, they have been attacking the blue paint. Nice play by Phil Bronner. He's inside. That's what they need to do. Try to get it down low.
Bormanis with a shot, bouncing out in front, yawning net mouth. Gavrick, he scores! Power play goal! Vladislav Gavrick! The Hat-Tricks have taken a 3-2 lead!
Puck don't lie. The puck does not lie. And Gavrick, who's had so many great opportunities today, he's been on the ice countless times. We saw him yesterday. He looked a little bit gassed at this point in the game. Today he looks sharp. He jumps on the rebound, and he just finds a way through a couple of trees in front of the net there, and it just sneaks its way into the back of the net and gives the Hat-Tricks the lead. Well deserved.
How good does that have to feel for Vlad Gavrick? He scored here as a member of the Danbury Whalers. Now he puts one in, the second power play goal of the game for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. We said that they had to score on the power play. They are now 2 for 7, and they hold a 3-2 lead.
And we were talking about how they needed to generate more pressure in front of Paulin and try to get bodies deep as a shove off the faceoff. Anderson taking issue with Matt Graham, and now we have some communication going on between the two of them, and it looks like they'll be chucking Anderson. It looks like they'll be showing him to the box, and Anderson lets the emotions get the best of him after they just take a power play goal lead. Now it looks like they'll be giving Port Huron that opportunity right back.
Yeah, it's going to be roughing on Anderson.
And boy, that's cutting things off before they escalate for sure, because Anderson gave a little shove at the faceoff dot. And it's a question of how much are you willing to tolerate if you're the officiating crew. They're trying to put a stop to it to prevent things from escalating.
You know, in Corey Anderson's defense, though, as the home center, especially for a faceoff at center ice, as soon as his stick touches the ice, the referee should be dropping the puck. That's what he was anticipating. The referee had not dropped the puck. Anderson follows on through. Graham gets a face full of stick. And because of that, Anderson finds himself in the box.
They're sending him off, but right now the faceoff's at center ice. So are they saying it's just a? Why would the faceoff be at center ice if it's a power play?
That is a fantastic question. Let's see what the call is.
It's 5-on-4. Why was the faceoff at center? Because after the goal, they officially didn't drop it. I didn't even realize. So since there was no play in between the goal and the penalty, they're dropping the puck at center ice. Wow, You see something new
Yes.
when you're around the game long enough every single game. I've never seen that situation arise before.
Especially in this league, you will always see something new and interesting.
So it'll be 90 more seconds of a power play chance for the Port Huron Prowlers, a chance to answer back after the huge power play goal by Gavrick. Here's Graham looking to the net, blocked in front by Mealy, rattling around the cage and put home. And the emotions getting the better of Anderson winds up costing his team the lead, as once more the Port Huron Prowlers are able to strike back and answer with their own power play goal.
We see it again. It's a very similar play. Somebody crashes to one side of the net. Everyone focuses their attention on that player, and somebody's left wide open in the back door. It's an easy tap-in goal right there for the Prowlers. And there's no breathing room for the hat tricks either yesterday or today. That's frustrating.
Once again, the Danbury hat tricks see the momentum, and then they see it taken away from them. The Port Huron Prowlers able to respond less than a minute after that goal.
Yes, indeed. It took only 40 seconds of power play time for Port Huron to find an answer, and that's exactly what you want if you're the Prowlers. You're gifted an opportunity on a silver play. You talk about trick or treat. They walked up to the doorstep, and they were handed a full-size crunch bar.
I used to love getting the full-size crunch bars.
Who doesn't love a full-size crunch? Listmayer having trouble fielding the puck as there's a Federley causing some trouble on the forecheck, but now Gavrick up to the Ruiz. Another line juggle here for the hat-tricks as it's Gavrick, Kasich, and Ruiz. Trying some different looks out there on the forward lines. McCreary trying to adjust mid-game. And Gavrick is the goal scorer, so perhaps they're just trying to give the hot hand a little more time. And there's Gavrick causing some havoc on the far side, over by the scorer's box. 6:45 to go in regulation time, and, well, if you've missed the last 3 minutes, you've missed the entire period, as both teams have traded goals, and it's a 3-3 hockey game. A hard open ice check, and down goes Bormanis. And he hops right back up to his feet, and a groan from the crowd, and he's laboring a bit as he goes over towards the bench, hunched over.
And it looks like it's his right arm that's giving him issue right now. He's still trying to get over into the bench.
Well, you hope for the best of Bormanis, who's one of the speedier players on this hat-tricks team, and they rely on him to generate a lot of offense on the power play especially. And now off to the races, here's Howie. Howie gets to the puck, gets around a defender, shot snagged out of the air by Paulin, and Paulin takes a step into Anderson trying to nurse a call. It was an inadvertent contact in front, certainly not malicious.
Nice sell job by Chris Paulin there, trying to give his team another power play. Hey, if you're a goalie,
that's, you know what? That's a smart move.
Absolutely.
Honestly, if you see the officials being whistle happy, why not?
Absolutely, especially Anderson, who just found him, who was in the penalty box for that last power play goal by Port Huron. Yeah, it's a smart play. The referee, he at least had an eye on it. Phil Bronner, though, you see to the left of your screens having a couple words with the officials. And now everybody will come on over to the benches. I believe this will be a Danbury timeout.
Yes, indeed. It will, in fact, be Billy McCreary using his timeout to talk over strategy with his team. So, once again, we find ourselves in a 3-3 hockey game with 6 minutes to go. Does this sound familiar to anyone here in the last 24 hours?
It's deja vu all over again.
It really is, and the Danbury bench needs to remember that. They need to remember what happened at the end of it as well, and they have to find another gear to prevent another overtime loss or regulation loss from occurring.
So it will, in fact, be Robertson who is credited with that third goal for the Port Huron Prowlers, his second of the game, and a second power play goal scored by the Port Huron Prowlers. Penalties biting the Rabbits in the tuchus.
Yeah, he's had a heck of a start to this season between the last two games, Robertson. I mean, you know, he's very productive last night and another pair of goals tonight.
And you know what's crazy is just that the way that he plays north-south hockey, you look at the way he plays and you don't see anything particularly special about the way he goes about it. It's simply that he always executes. It's always on the right part of his stick. It's always tape to tape. He's just an excellent instinctual player.
He's a great hockey player. He's someone who knows the right place to be at the right time. How many times just this weekend have we seen him left alone on the back door and scoring? So far with 2 goals tonight. He had a goal yesterday. His 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists, leads the entire Federal Hockey League.
And to the surprise of no one, as he was an early favorite to lead the league in scoring, as a "Let's Go Hat Tricks" chant comes up from the crowd as a key offensive zone faceoff, as Newberg has to make his way back towards the bench. There were 6 hat tricks lined up. It's Anderson taking the draw against Graham. Anderson wins it. Back to Brennan. Quick shot off the faceoff. Goes off a body in front. Scrum along the far side post is held by Paulin as a body went down. I believe that was Anderson who lost his footing in front of the net mouth, and will do it again from the offensive zone.
Well, more clogging the goal area. You see that's been a tendency of the hat tricks in the last 4 minutes or so since that power play opportunity where Bronner almost poked it in. They're trying to drive right into the crease, make Paulin feel uncomfortable with the bodies. We saw it last night with Nieder. He was not able to make a lot of saves because of the traffic around him, and that's something that the hat tricks have been doing very well over the last couple of minutes.
It's an adjustment that they've needed to make because Paulin, he's an aggressive goalie. He's not going to hang out deep in his net. You have bodies in front. Like you said, Jack, it restricts where the goaltender can go.
Puck is sent into the far side corner. Graham one-hands it, but it goes off of the glass division, and it's kept in.
Casey, I think that one might have hit the linesman. They've been a target today.
Boy, sometimes the puck just finds you as that's played by a high stick by Newberg, and that will be whistled down. As Newberg took a swing, Newberg has been on and off the ice these last couple minutes, seeing a bit of extended ice time, and the hat tricks will get a change as we have an a neutral zone draw right in front of the Danbury bench.
I think the faceoff's actually going to come.
Oh, no, there you go. The referee had pointed to the neutral zone, and I believe he caught himself. He was corrected by the referee.
Yeah, no.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it's a high stick. It should be down in the defensive zone, but.
So it'll be Graham Robertson and Jay, the forward line, with Virtianen and number 16, Brian Parsons, completing the unit. Virtianen has been playing a lot of defense today.
Well,
I'd say he's one of those great two-way players.
And that's something here in the Federal Hockey League. You know, they don't have as big of a bench as NHL teams do. You need players to be successful who can play both ends of the ice.
Levesque fighting for the puck, gets it back to Bormanis in his first shift since the injury. Good to see Bormanis back out on the ice as there he is, settling the puck down, getting out to Mealy, crossing the way. Here's Listmeyer, bombs away, it goes wide. Here's Bormanis again, getting the puck, stopping short, gets Jay to overcommit on the play. But boy, here's that pressure from Port Huron. They're just always following the puck carrier with such tenacity. As there's Graham poking the puck away, getting it out to Robertson in open space, lifts it down the ice, trying to spring Jay for a breakaway, and a good job by Steve Mealy to prevent that near breakaway.
Yeah, it's a great play by him. He says, I'm just going to try to knock the puck down. That's the most important thing here, because if it gets to Jay, he's beside me. It's gone.
That's an alley-oop pass. That's LeBron to Wade right there, because those are two players, Robertson and Jay, who understand each other's tendencies. He knows if he sends it to that area, he's there.
Well, it's a set play for the Port Huron Prowlers. We've seen them do this multiple times in this game. We saw them do it yesterday as well. They go high, cross ice. You're not going to ice it, but you'll have Dalton Jay hanging out by the blue line. All he needs is one opportunity, and with 4:49 to go here in the third in a tied game, that one opportunity is all he needs.
Faceoff will be to the left of McGuckin. Zolkanich will be taking the draw against Anderson. Zolkanich is out there on the forward line with Owed to his left, and right behind him is Jarrett Pfeiffer. 4:49 to go in the third period. We're tied at 3. Here at the Danbury Arena in Game 2 of the regular season, the final game of the weekend for the Hat Tricks. Not the final pro game to be held in Danbury Arena, as tomorrow at 1:30 the Connecticut Whale will be playing the Minnesota Whitecaps in a rematch of this afternoon's contest.
Figure the Whale will want a better response.
Naturally. The Whale found themselves on the wrong end of a 7-2 score this afternoon, despite the fact that they played a great game. It's a hard check, and Zolkanich is down on the ice, and it looks like we'll get a penalty as a result. Zolkanich went hard into the boards and was brought down.
You know, he was definitely hit hard into the boards. I want to see what the call is. It's the rear referee, the referee in the neutral zone, who puts his arm up and calls the penalty. But with 4:32 remaining here in the third, Port Huron's now going to go on to their 7th power play of the evening. They are 2 for 6 so far. And gentlemen, as we said, when Danbury had a string of power plays in a row, you can't keep giving teams opportunities like this.
I mean, it's a tough angle from us guys, and it must have been a better shot for the official down the ice. I don't think he got his numbers. That's really tough to see. I'll have to see on the footage.
I'm sure it's the reverberation along the boards and certainly the residual effects after the fact. Zolkanich is down on the ice. He's woozy a little bit down there. You'll see it called pretty much anywhere, especially at the NHL level where they're trying to crack down on those hard, high hits along the wall. And Anderson once more finds himself in the penalty box. The last time he was there, the Prowlers were able to strike just 40 seconds into their power play. It'll be Newberg going up against Graham in the face-off dot to the left of McGuckin. Tied up, Danbury trying to kill off some precious seconds to start and get some players out of position. It's one back to Robertson, who positions himself at the point. Back to his feet is Dalton Jay as a puck ricochets out in front of the net and gets cleared out of the zone by Bronner.
Yeah, Dalton Jay laboring out there. I'm not exactly sure if he took a stick to the ankle or what, but he stays out on the ice.
Jay is a warrior. He certainly one of the leaders in ice time on this team regardless, as there he is almost sneaking past Bronner. He's a sneaky quick player. That first step and he's back. As we get another penalty going against the Danbury Hat Tricks, that's a high stick, as it was Dalton Jay who took a stick to the nose. So you mentioned he took a stick to the ankle. This time he gets one to the moneymaker, the face, and it'll be a 5-on-3 for this Prowlers team.
It's tough. I mean, you're shooting yourself in the foot here. You have an opportunity to hang on to a lead. You let it go on a power play, and now you got yourself back against the wall. 5-on-3, you got to kill this thing off. Port Huron, you're loving this. You have a huge opportunity here to tack in 1, maybe 2 goals. And the way that Danbury's played, they haven't been able to build up momentum too well. You get a goal or 2 here, that could be a backbreaker.
Absolutely. Port Huron's going to call timeout here so they can talk this over. But that's the important thing. Not only is it a 5-on-3, it's a long 5-on-3. They have 1:27 seconds with the 2-man advantage. Only 3:58 to go here in the third period. Jack, to your point, that even if they only get 1, that is going to be one heck of a hill that the Danbury Hat Tricks have to climb to tie it up.
So we're in the final 4 minutes, and it was in the final 4 minutes that the Hat Tricks took a 4-3 lead and were answered right back by a 4-4 game tire with less than 2 minutes to go in the game last night. So now the Port Huron Prowlers have themselves their best opportunity of the day to go up by not just 1, but 2. They can really sheathe the dagger in the chests of the Hat Tricks. What do you need from this 3-man kill for the Hat Tricks to survive?
You need a quick clear just to get yourself footing, get the pressure away from that offensive zone faceoff for Port Huron, and just find a way to communicate. If you keep that triangle moving as one unit, that's going to be your best way to kill this thing off. Port Huron, that's a lot of time, 1:27 seconds with a 2-man advantage.
Danbury needs to play with desperation. Danbury needs to play with pride. They've put themselves in this hole right now. They have a tied game. Memories of last night still very fresh in their minds. They got to pull it together here.
Zolkanich will be taking the draw against with Dalton Jay and Matt Graham to his flank as a quick puck is sent back towards McGuckin, and will do it again. Robertson and Arnott will complete the 5-man unit. Across from them will be Newberg, Bronner, and Mealy. So Newberg is one of those guys who takes a lot of defensive zone draws. He sees a lot of time in his own zone, and he's a reliable defender usually. So we'll see if he and Bronner, perhaps 2 forwards going out there on the penalty kill, not going with 1 forward and 2 defensemen at this key portion of the game. Here's Arnott making his way up ice. Zolkanich, backhand pass over to Robertson, far side midboards. Out to Arnott, back to Robertson, playing pitch and catch at the high part of the zone. One-time shot, blocked by Mealy and cleared by a diving Newberg, and a roar of approval from the Hat Tricks faithful.
That's what you need. You get your bench going, excited. Mealy takes a shot there and is able to turn it around.
Springs a breakaway, but there's McGuckin with the glove to stop that one, and I believe that's Zolkanich who wants to know why that isn't a tripping call on Cruz Listmeyer, who tied up that play.
A fearless block by Steve Mealy there as he took it on his leg. You saw him flexing that leg afterwards, but he's a warrior. He's going to stay out on the ice. 44 seconds remaining in this 5-on-3 advantage, 3:15 remaining in regulation time.
44 seconds to go in the 5-on-3, and then there will be additional 33 seconds of 5-on-4 time for Port Huron if they're unable to score. We're in the crucial waning moments of this regular season contest. Here's Jay looking to the net, blocked by Mealy. He takes the puck and clears it. Great play by Mealy.
What a game for Steve Mealy. I mean, he scored the first goal of the game for Danbury, and he's been so solid defensively for them. What a game.
Portillo in on the left side now. Brennan directing traffic defensively. There's Phil Bronner pressuring the puck carrier. Bronner gets his stick in a passing lane, but Graham settles it down. Back out to Arnott. Crosses the way to Robertson at the high slot. He's got a man in front of him in Levesque. Bronner on one knee. One-time slap shot goes high and wide. 5 seconds to go in the 5-on-3 before Anderson rejoins the action. It's cleared out into the neutral zone. Anderson joins in the fun, and he'll stay on for the 5-on-4 as the Prowlers enter back in. Jay drops it back to Robertson. Crosses the way to Arnott at the near side point. Back to Robertson, who's been so dangerous at directing the quarterbacking the power play from that position. There's Arnott. Has the puck almost knocked away from him from Bronner. 15 seconds to go. Crossing the way, Robertson thinks about a shot, has a diving Newberg in front of him. Newberg gets a stick on it, and it doesn't reach the net. Final seconds of the power play here as the hat-tricks are coming oh so close to killing off this power play. 2 seconds to go. That'll do it for the 5-on-4. And it'll be another delayed call. So just as they were out of danger, there's Bronner, who cross-checks down a man in front. That's Federle. And it will be yet another penalty, and if they do not score, it will take them all the way to the end of regulation. And boy, just when you thought they were out of the woods.
I think Phil Bronner trying to get a little revenge on Austin Federle. Remember, in the second period, Federle got away with stomping down on Phil Bronner's skate. On the top of that skate, Bronner obviously remembering that, and now he finds himself in the penalty box. The Danbury Hat-tricks killed off a 5-on-3 for 1:27. Now there's a $1:55 to go in regulation, and they have to kill off another penalty.
It's just so frustrating. Phil Bronner, an alternate captain on this team, he's got to have more of a veteran move. You want to see leadership from guys right now, especially at a time like this where this game has just gone back and forth with these penalties. And give Danbury so much credit for killing off that very long 5-on-3, and just to see them go back down again on the penalty kill is so draining.
Well, it's so disheartening, especially considering what a great shift Bronner just had.
Yeah.
He was just completing a terrific shift on the 5-on-3, but he lets his heart get in the way of his head. As now we got a stoppage over by the neutral zone. What do we have here? It looks like there's too many men. It looked like there were 6 men lined up when the puck was dropped for Port Huron.
You know, you're not going to get too many men on the ice if you have 6 men lined up when the puck drops. But the player came over the Port Huron bench after the puck had dropped, and you saw head coach Billy McCreary looking for the 2 main men on the ice penalty. Instead, Port Huron, they keep the 1-man advantage. They're 2 for 8 on the power play, and if Danbury can't win this game, they can look at the 9 power plays that they have surrendered.
There are about 1,000 referees in the stands right now who disagree with the assessment of events right now, as we have 2 minutes of power play time starting from the neutral zone, which is another rare occurrence for a power play to start from outside the zone. Listmayer takes the puck away. Racks it off the boards, and Rick List now here's a chance for Kasich. Levesque springs him. Kasich brought down to the ice, and that will negate the power play as Port Huron touches it up, and Kasich goes down to the ice, and Federle has some words for Kasich, who thinks that perhaps Kasich sold it a little bit as he entered in.
Well, Austin Federle is really involving himself in every aspect of the game. We've talked about his penalties. We've talked about what he's done on the ice. Well, keep in mind, he also has a goal in this game. This is someone who's done a great job for Port Huron, great job for his team. But now, 1:29 remains in regulation time. We're going to skate 4-on-4, assuming no other penalties, which at this case, who knows if that's going to happen. We'll finish out the third period skating 4 aside.
So now we have a little bit of communication going on between the officiating crew and the benches right now, trying to settle things down. But now they're trying to figure out, I believe, what side of the ice the face-off will be from. As now we have 1:34, if it lasts that long, to 4-on-4, because there's only 1:29 remaining in regulation.
And we saw this yesterday, the Danbury Hat-tricks. It's important to them to get the face-off where they want. In this case, they want it to be on the right wing side. It looks like it's going to be Johnny Ruiz who will take the face-off. He's a right-handed shot, meaning that he'll be on his backhand trying to win it back.
It will be Ruiz out there with Bormanis, Mealy, and Gonzalez.
You know, Gonzalez is just staring at the Port Huron bench. There's still a linesman over there, but usually you don't see a defenseman. You don't see, the counterpoint there.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's Austin Federle who's drawing the attention from all 4 officials.
Well, it's certainly a bit of a miscue. And now Federle might have earned himself another trip as Federle asks, can he hear the crowd? And he vamps them up, and oh boy, I mean, that's earned himself another penalty for Port Huron. So do we have ourselves a 4-on-3?
Rather,
he's gone.
Yeah,
he's giving him a misconduct.
He's been ejected.
And Federle tips the cap to the Danbury bench. And, well, we talked about how we've been missing FPHL hockey. There it is at its finest.
In one player.
Federle will be shown the door, and he hits the locker room early, has an early chance to shower and grab a bite to eat after the game.
Little Jersey Mikes.
Well, Jersey Mikes. So now we have a 4-on-4 for a minute 34. There's 1:30 remaining in regulation time. Stoya is sitting in the box for tripping for the Port Huron Prowlers. 1:15 to go as we have another delayed penalty, as it was Parsons who took the stick to the face, and that's yet another whistle against the Danbury Hat-Tricks. They just can't stay out of the box.
Casey, I'm glad I'm not in charge of the score sheet tonight. They're going to need something new for penalties, because at this point, Port Huron's going to go on to the power play. It's their 10th power play of the game, and it's a tie game with a minute 14 left.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous at this point. You have to say, is it the officials that are just blowing everything? Because, I mean, we've seen some plays that
they're calling it very
one
tightly.
way.
It's not that you can say that, like, something is being called that shouldn't be called,
but
they certainly have tightened things up as the game progresses. And we talk about trying to prevent things from going too far. And they chucked Federle before perhaps there was a dangerous situation there. You're calling whistles, and it'll be a 4-minute penalty being assessed. Blood was drawn.
Oh,
so
that's not good.
It'll be Johnny Ruiz sitting in the penalty box. So Johnny Ruiz, in just his second pro game, the Williamstown, New Jersey native, will sit in the box, and now it'll be 4-on-3. So madcap hockey in the final minute of regulation. 3-3 is your score. Can the Prowlers strike with the man advantage? Here's Robertson out to Arnott at the high slot, has Mealy posting up in front of him. Here's Dalton J at the near side circle. Right-handed shot, looks to the net, save McGurkin, rebound, bouncing around, no goal! And Robertson had put his arms up in celebration. He thought he had made contact with the puck. He celebrated before he scored.
I don't know how McGurkin makes that save right there. He just kind of falls backwards. The puck's still loose. And you're right, Casey, the way that Robertson had reacted, it looked like it was a clear goal. We just hadn't seen it from our angle. But McGuckin, again, just finding a way to fall on that puck.
You know, that's the second time that McGuckin has been down on his backside, and he still makes a beautiful glove save, robbing Matt Robertson there. Robertson looking for the hat trick on this shift, but he's robbed.
So we'll have a timeout taken. I thought that Billy McCreary had used his timeout before, but we must have been mistaken for something. It must have been a media timeout that we missed.
Perhaps.
I could have sworn it wasn't after the 10-minute mark, but regardless, they're going to give Billy McCreary another timeout as he draws up a 3-man kill play. He's broken out the whiteboard as he's down there by the Hat-Tricks bench, sporting a very fashionable black fedora.
Yeah, you can catch him just at the bottom of your screen, but certainly putting on a show for the fans here in Danbury.
And I tell you what, who I feel for most is our official scorer right now in the box, Nick Garofalo, who was handed a pen and a paper and said, good luck for the official scoring for tonight. So special stick taps out to Nick, who has been a trooper tonight, not only doing the score sheet in the first place, but now having to handle all of these different penalties tonight.
It's a challenge for a seasoned guy, and this is, Nick's a fill-in today, and
well, Nick is a veteran hockey
Well,
guy.
That's true. That is true. He's probably scratching his head saying, what the heck is going on?
I'm curious as to what he's going to do for the penalties. We've had 21 penalties total now in this game. I know there are not 21 lines on that score sheet.
And you got to be careful you don't run out of ink in your pen. So it'll be 44 seconds of regulation time. In 49 seconds, should we reach overtime, Phil Bronner will rejoin the action. Graham taking the faceoff draw with Robertson to his right, Jay to his left. Arnott completing the 4-man unit. Arnott over to Robertson. Back to Arnott, the near side point. Dalton J one-timer off the glass, and it rattles out of the zone. 30 seconds to go in regulation time.
Jay had a good look. Puck was on its edge. That's why it was roofed up to the high glass.
Got too much of the fat part of the puck, as here's Graham one-on-one with Mealy. Forced wide to the far side corner. 20 seconds to go in regulation. Down low, Graham looks to the net, tries to pick a corner shot high and into the netting with 14.3 to go in regulation time. And the Prowlers have only precious seconds to take a 3-point game from the Danbury Hat-Tricks with a regulation win. If not, we will have at most a 2-point situation.
Well, Matt Graham having a word with the linesman as the faceoff's going to come out of the zone.
They're going to say he shot it clean?
I suppose that, yeah, again, the rule is now that if an offensive player sends the puck out of the zone on a shot like that, the faceoff stays in the offensive end. Danbury lucking out with a neutral zone faceoff and now a clear.
Yeah, it sounded like it hit some glass before it went out, but it definitely didn't touch a stick.
Well, for the second night in a row, we will have overtime. And the Port Huron Prowlers are running out of time, really, on that 4-on-3 power play. They had the correct unit out there, but simply couldn't get enough set up in the allotted time. So at the very least, the Danbury Hat-Tricks, though they faced penalty after penalty, they kept on poisoning themselves. They still come out of here with a point, which at the very least gives the fans exciting hockey to watch.
Yeah, it's positive that you've been able to have 3 guys on the ice multiple times that have shut Port Huron down. I mean, that you'll take that and run with it. It's just frustrating because you've had guys in the box so often that you've had to do that.
And, you know, even though this is supposed to be nominally 3-on-3 overtime, you're going to get some different units out there. In 4 seconds, we'll start off 4-on-3. In 4 seconds, Phil Bronner will be released from the box. We'll be 4-on-4. 26 seconds after that, Matt Stoa will get out of the box for Port Huron. We'll be 5-on-4. If there are any whistles during that point, we'll reset down exactly to what 3-on-3 should be. But again, the Danbury Hat-Tricks find themselves in overtime. In yesterday's game, Matt Robertson got the game winner by hanging out on the back door. Danbury's defenseman got sucked in towards the puck carrier. Robertson had an empty net to shoot at. We'll see what Danbury can do to prevent that in this one, while at the same time still killing off plenty of penalty time.
Oh, well, it only took 30 seconds of extra time last night for the Port Huron Prowlers to come away with a victory. So we'll see how long things last in overtime this go-around. The Danbury Hat-Tricks would certainly, for their own sake, like to last a little bit longer, especially shorthanded.
Yeah, you just want to get a couple more opportunities. I mean, when it's that quick, it sucks the life out of you. You just feel so deflated. You don't even get a chance, you know, to get going in the overtime period to give up a goal within 30 seconds. So for Danbury, if you have to keep it in your own zone for a little bit, just away from the Port Huron players, that's something that you could look into too.
Looks like Danbury's going to start out with 1 forward and 2 defensemen. That makes sense. With Bronner coming out of the box, he's sat for the last 2 minutes. He's rested enough. He can come out and join the play immediately.
And he's a good penalty killer too. He's physical. You just don't want him to take another penalty. That's the number one thing. Come out of the box and play a clean penalty kill. Get us through.
Absolutely, because Phil Bronner does such a great job of clogging the lane, too. He's just a great heady player when he's able to stay out of the box. So now here's Graham down low. Graham feeds Robertson in the far side corner. Robertson has Mealy in front of him, crosses the way to Arnott. Arnott looks to the net, looking for the backdoor pass for Robertson, and almost got to his stick, but it will instead send its way out into the neutral zone. Taken away by Bronner. Bronner rejoining the action, dives towards Paulin. Paulin, puck is still loose. Turnaround shot just wide. Levesque missed an open net. Paulin was still out at the hash marks. Now back the other way. Here come the Prowlers. Backdoor pass for Robertson. He scores! Seconds after Nicola Levesque. Fans of the open net. Once again, the Prowlers, 39 seconds into extra time, have stunned the Danbury Hat-Tricks.
Oh, it's a hat trick for Matt Robertson, but that's 2 nights in a row. He gets the game-winning goal by having it go off of his skates and in.
Oh, it's just so frustrating for you. I mean, Levesque The biggest thing there is he's kind of falling backwards as he's shooting that puck. And there's a guy in front of him laying out, so he knows he's got to lift it up, and he's trying to fall backwards at the same time, fires it wide, and then that's where the odd man rush comes back the other way. And then Robertson with just the soft touch right in front of the net to get that in. He's the hero again, and Port Huron comes in and takes the 2 games from Danbury.
Well, you got to feel frustrated if you're a Danbury hat trick because you had not 1 but 2 prime opportunities on back-to-back nights to really make a statement and get your first win in front of a home crowd. Now instead they'll be on the road until November 15th and 16th. You talk about that chance from Levesque out in front. You talk about missed chances. They don't get more open than that. Levesque only had a couple of seconds to get that shot off, and he missed an open 6x4.
Yeah, he rushed it. And, give credit to Phil Bronner for making that even happen. Bronner dove after it. Paulin came out to play it as well. I was anticipating a whistle, and then suddenly, because of Bronner's hard work, the puck pops out, and Levesque has the opportunity. Instead, he just tries turning around, shooting it immediately. It doesn't work out, and as a matter of fact, he misses it wide. That begins the breakout for Port Huron. Another odd man rush, and again, Matt Robertson with the game-winning goal.
Well, Robertson, once more the hero for the Port Huron Prowlers. We want to thank everybody for tuning in on the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel. And be sure to tune in again when the Hat Tricks are home November 15th and 16th for the next opportunity of Danbury Hat Tricks action. For Jack O'Mara and Zach McGinnis, I'm Casey Bryant, sincerely thanking you once again for tuning in. For all of us here at the Danbury Hat Tricks, have a good night.